all here for the taking. Don't wanna test your luck with me, I think I've had enough disease. I'm sick of all the bad thoughts, people who are half-nots. You are not as tough as I'm back, you know that I never left. I got tracks and some music that you never guess. I don't slack, don't lose, learn your lesson yet. When I get to choose what I do, I'm like a weapon. I'm not sharp as many, but got heart. I'm ready to change scars to envy, to win large and plenty. I like to play fast, never change back. Calling out, I'll pay back, cause I'm great at that. Oh, you cannot save me, cause I don't need saving. It's everything I've been chasing, all here for the taking. Don't wanna test your luck with me, I think I've had enough disease. I'm sick of all the bad thoughts, people who are half-nots. You are not as tough though. Don't wanna test your luck with me, I think I've had enough disease. I'm sick of all the bad thoughts, people who are half-nots. You are not as tough as me. Don't wanna test your luck with me, I think I've had enough disease. I'm sick of all the bad thoughts, people who are half-nots. You are not as tough as me. I'm taking shots at the enemy, I'm gonna make it to the top, leave a legacy. If I got something to say, you better let me speak. Turn it up a new degree, bitch, you ain't seen anything. I pop off with the new rock, electronic, blow the sonic roof up. I'm too honest when I take a few shots, they're too toxic, need to take the noose off. You cannot save me, cause I don't need saving. It's everything I've been chasing, all here for the taking. Don't wanna test your luck with me, I think I've had enough disease. I'm sick of all the bad thoughts, people who are half-nots. You are not as tough I'm back, you know that I never left. I got tracks and some music that you never guess. I don't slack, don't lose, learn your lesson yet. When I get to choose what I do, I'm like a weapon. I'm not sharp as many, but got heart. I'm ready to change scars to envy, to win large and plenty. I like to play fast, never change back. Calling out, I'll pay back, cause I'm great at that. Oh, you cannot save me, cause I don't need saving.
Oh god, I just swallowed an orange. Holy shit. Hold on. Oh, that's unfortunate. Oh, that's unfortunate. I just breathed an orange. I just breathed an orange. Oh! That's not nice. That don't feel nice. How are you holding up, Kime? Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Snorting orange like a mouse. Hold on, I need to put some orange on my other tooth too. Hold on. Heck yeah. Spending my B-day with my favorite schizo rabbit and my too far gun. Happy birthday, Colonel! Happy birthday! How's your tooth if you're using orange jelly? You know, my teeth were actually feeling a lot better and they only hurt when it was cold. But then I heated up some chicken and dumplings earlier. And I guess the dumplings were too hot because now my fucking tooth hurts again. So that's enjoyable. And then the right side of my mouth hurts now as well because I just chewed on ham. I have a new microwave, and the microwave is a lot stronger than my old microwave, so I put ham in there. I put leftover ham in there. And it made it very hard and chewy, but it's like, I'm not gonna just waste ham, right? So I'm eating it anyways, but my teeth are really sensitive, so chewing on it, gotta get used to the new timings, yeah. Have you tried pulling out your tooth? Yeah, I'm not gonna do that. Floss, I have a water pick. Why would you put ham in a microwave? Because it's cooked ham, it's leftovers. Wait, you microwave just straight ham? Yeah. It's cooked ham. It's not raw ham, it's cooked ham. So, I should put on background music. Oh. Listen, last chat, I got some Pokemon in the background. A water pick can also be used as a bidet. What the fuck? And I'm thank you for the $2. I do hope you feel better soon. Well, thank you. I chipped a tooth yesterday. Oh my god, Frank Habano. I go. Yeah, I'm still working on the echo situation. So, Ascendance of a Bookworm. I did not read like anything yesterday. I felt like shit yesterday. I felt like shit the day before yesterday. My weekend was not a weekend. It was sit there and wait for this fucking stomach bug I caught to go away. XYZ, thank you for the 303. Happy Big Wednesday. Make Leah explain the gears. Oh, I really do want to make Leah explain the gears. Leah's playing Smash or Pass in the Pokemon version. And I wanna make her explain the gears. Lockpicking Lawyer, thank you for the $1. This is Lockpicking Lawyer. What I have for you today is the key to a woman's heart. Nothing on 1, nothing on 2, 3 is binding. Gang, thank you for the $10. Anti-echo fun. Listen, man, I'm doing my best. The thing stopping me right now is thumbtacks. I found some. I've been working on emptying out some of my bins. Explain the bugs? No. So for those of you who don't know, I recently moved boroughs. And a lot of my shit is still in bins. And I am not a person of very good health. So I've been working on unpacking things, putting things away. It's a pain in the ass. I don't know where the fuck the thumbtacks are. I need to put oh, thank you, GL710 for the 333 thumbtack fun. I might just order some off Amazon. But thumbtacks are one of those things where it's like I want to order them, but then it's like, why would I order them when I can just go to Walmart? And then I never go to Walmart because I'm too fucking scared of people, so it just never ends up happening. And New Borough didn't allow for bird pets. Yes, it does. It's just I have a room set aside specifically for streaming. And bird is not allowed in here. But the microwave ham doesn't help your health? Listen, it's better than eating hot Cheetos. Which is what I did yesterday. Bring a bird in here. Oh my god. I'll do a bird collab soon. Every time I buy thumbtacks, I end up powerbombing the blanket. Time to get some sound foam. It's so expensive. Fuck that. Why would I buy sound foam when I can go to Goodwill and I can buy blankets to put up on the walls, and I can use my leftover blankets and comforters and stuff, right? Why would I buy sound foam? I don't have enough egg cartons. Why would I buy that stuff when I could just use old stuff? The blanket could have poor people smell on them. Yeah, they do kind of smell weird, actually. My blankets actually do smell pretty weird. So I've moved places a few times recently, and don't get a new mic. I decided against the new mic. I think my current mic is just fine. For right now, anyways. But I do have good news. I have a new computer coming. But what was I gonna say? Right. So before I moved recently, we'll say back in Phase World. We'll say I took some of my stuff with me from Phase World, right? And let's say I was a little tiny bit of a hikikomori. I was a tiny bit of a I don't leave my room unless I absolutely fucking have to, right? And let's just say a lot of my stuff, it does not smell great. It does not smell great. Like, I opened up one of those bins and I caught a whiff and I was like, and then, and then I looked at some of my stuffed animals and I was like, oh my god, these look filthy. Why does everything look so dirty? And it's only because I haven't been living as much of a hikikomori. I haven't been living like a hikikomori as much. I've improved so much in hygiene. And like cleanliness and everything. So now I look at my old stuff and I'm like, holy shit! Damn, I look like this! You actually take showers now. Yeah, I actually took a shower today. I try to take showers daily now, even if I don't necessarily like use soap and everything. I think it's good to just rinse off. Proud of you, Pippa. Well, thank you, Hurst. Well, yeah, like I picked up some of my stuffed animals and they have like stuff on them. Like I guess food or something. And all I can think of is like maybe I set down a plate or whatever on them and it spilled. I don't know. I used to. Do you even have a shower? Yes, I have a shower. No soap? I mean, I do use soap, but I don't use soap every day. I do use soap, just not every day. I take a shower every day, but I don't always use soap. I have very, very sensitive skin. If I use soap every day, I'm gonna start, like, burning. But, at least use conditioner. No. Listen, you wash your hair like 3 times a week. You don't, and then like washing your body. You soup, not soap. Soap allergy, by the way, is that a real thing? Cold showers every day? No, not cold showers. There's a soap for that. What soap should you buy if regular soap burns your skin? Like, even, I bought the soft stuff too, right? Like, I bought the Dove, like, soft skin or whatever, or ultra soft or whatever. It still burns. Scent-free soaps. Oh. Did you make specialty soaps? Sensitive skin? Oh, try the oatmeal. Oh, I think I used oatmeal once before, but that stuff really burnt me. That stuff really burnt me, and then I looked at it and it was like, yeah, it's like oatmeal, but it's also like a bunch of other crap. Skin Cashew, thank you for the $2. Soap burns, Pippa gets burnt. You salt in a scouring pad? Coconut oil soap? Glycerin soap? Maybe a Vino, I'll look that up. Showdown Joe, thank you for the $2. Does your V-Day mousepad have wrist support? Yes, I think it does. Look for anything hypoallergenic. I will look for that. Allergic to cleanliness. I don't know what the problem was. Pippa just talks about everything except for the book for the video. We will talk about the book! We will talk about the book. I'm just catching up. So yeah, sorry for no stream yesterday. Tomorrow, I want to read over the Valentine's cards and stuff that you guys posted. What are you made of, Rabbit? Why would soap burn you? I just have sensitive skin, man. I have sensitive skin. Anyways, Castile soap is coconut oil soap. I will look into that. I had this one like cucumber scented soap that I used to really like, and then I couldn't find it again. You know the pain, Pippa? Might be your laundry detergent, making it worse. Holy shit, I didn't even think of that. Showering too often strips out essential oils for off your skin. Weebs, no. Neutrogena facial unscented salts recommended for when my hands dry to the point of cracking open and bleeding. Ugh. Expose yourself to the sun, Pippa. It'll make your skin strong. I don't think so. I don't think so. That was usually good because it's detergent versus surfactant, aka soap. But you said you've tried that, yeah. Dove is a lot better on my skin. It's just if I use too much of it too frequently, it just... Moisturizer before shower, maybe. Anyways, let's talk about the book. Let's talk about the book. So, full disclosure, I've been reading it a little bit here, a little bit there, and last I checked, I am 49% of the way though. I need to pick up the pace. I need to pick up the pace. I need to pick up the pace. I'm 49% of the way though. So we're doing no spoilers. And then when I had some information given to me that apparently a lot of other people also have not finished. So we're doing a spoiler-free discussion. It's not even that long. It's really not that long. I watched the anime way back when it was airing, but not sure how much I kept up with it. I'm pretty sure I saw at least a few episodes. First few episodes. What counts as a spoiler? Like key plot points and stuff? I think the point where I'm at in the story, like none of it... There isn't really much of a story so far. So a brief synopsis of the story of Ascendance of a Bookworm is basically this girl gets transported to another world. She is a complete bookworm and like she just absolutely loves reading and she absolutely loves books and she's got like this whole book room in her attic, and one day an earthquake happens and the books come crashing down on her and she dies and is reborn. She's reborn as a 5-year-old and she looks like she's like 3 years old. And the entire book so far has just been her trying to figure out how she can recreate books. She wants to learn how she can make books more cost-effective. Because right now they use parchment, which is animal skin. And so she tries inventing like some different types of paper. But none of them are going for her so far. Which in my mind, can't you make paper pretty easily by cutting thin strips of wood? Can't you like, you can cut really thin strips of wood and you can soak it all and then you can press it heavily using stones? Using flat stones. And then drying it out in the sun. Pulp, yeah. You can make paper from wood pulp, yeah. Have you tried doing it? No, I just know it's a thing you can do. Paper is wood powderized. Spoilers, Tippa. Is that what she ends up doing? I don't know. It's wooden pulp, but close. She tries doing something similar. The part where I'm at, the things that she has tried have not worked. And they're honestly things that I would have never thought of. That's a massive spoiler. So the wood pulp is harder than hemp pulp. You can use hemp though to make paper as well. There's a lot of things you can use to make paper actually. It's kind of strange to me the things that she tries. I don't fully understand. She's not very smart. She's not very smart, and she has strange bits of knowledge that make me wonder, like, what the hell? Is this common knowledge over in like Japan or something? Is this common knowledge over up in like Japan or something? She's 5? No, she was a college graduate almost when she died. She had almost graduated college. She's book smart, not street smart. Yeah, well, book smart implies you would have knowledge of doing, like, basic things. Her knowledge comes from her reading everything. What the fuck was she reading? Right? They don't tell us. They don't tell us what she was reading. She's the little definition of book smart, but she doesn't know how paper was made back in the old days? Everything? I feel like... I don't know, that's one of the first things that kind of annoyed me. Is... like, book enjoyers? Book enjoyers? I've never met somebody that just enjoys reading everything, you know? Like, some people will say, like, oh yeah, I enjoy a little bit of everything, right? But generally, people have a specific, like, genre? Generally, people have, like, a specific genre. Pippa, have you memorized everything you've ever read? No, but I know the basic premise of how paper is made. Taste in genres. Yeah, people have specific taste in genres. And it kind of... think of it like, do you remember every single TV show you watch? No. But... I do have a lot of general knowledge despite that. I'm not saying... because I've definitely read... there was one manga that I read where this girl gets reborn into another world and the whole premise is that, like... she remembers complex, like, architectural designs and, schematics for everything that she's ever seen. And I read that and I was like, well, that's fucking stupid, right? Like, you don't read something... you don't read, like, a book about trains and then know how trains are made, right? Like... first of all, that's just not how books work. That's not how books work. Very rarely will you ever find a book that is a 100% accurate portrayal of a craft, right? Like, if I read a book on bird care, right? There's only so much a book on how to take care of birds can teach you, because a lot of skills are actually... they come down to experience, you know? So... that manga really annoyed the hell out of me, right? Because it's not like you read a book on trains and it's like, yeah, I know how to make a train. Perfect. Because then it gets down to, okay, well, what do you do when this piece is made out of a different material? Because maybe you don't have a one-to-one version of that fucking material from back in your world, you know? What about if fucking like different climates or whatever for how much coal you would need or whatever, or like the gravity of this world versus the gravity of, you know, like there's so many little things. But anyways, that's a different story and it's a dumb one. There are instruction manuals, Pippa. When you get... okay, this girl gets isekai... this other story that I'm talking about, she gets isekai'd into another world and she can memorize schematics and she knows how to engineer things because of it in this other world. So she, like, invents train travel and everything. And it's like, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. Like, there's so much nuance that goes into different, complex creations like that. How's paper spoilers? Anyways, with this story, I had it hyped up for me a lot. That one is a bit over the top. Do you know which one I'm talking about, Blink? It's not that hard if she did Steam Power. I think it was Steam Power, but this one, Ascendance of the Bookworm, it is kind of disappointing to me. I kind of thought it was gonna be like Spice and Wolf. Trains are nowhere near as complicated as you think they are. Things can be broken down simplistically, but when you get into like the nitty-gritty details of things is when things tend to go awry. Right? Like roller coasters? Roller coasters are pretty simple. And then you get into like the complex calculations that are involved for making things perform a specific way. Why would you expect it to be a masterpiece like a bicycle? Yeah, yes, a train is just a big tube that there are totally not thousands of parts needed for it to work. Oh, man. The later books are much better. Knowing how it works and how to make it are two different things. I think this gets better as it goes on. Once you start to see society is pretty harsh, you see there's good world building. Did it take multiple tries to make the train in the one story, or she just knew how to make it? I might lose some of you here. I fucking hate magic. I fucking hate magic in isekai. I fucking hate magic in general. Okay, chat. I'm sorry. I enjoy it in my MMOs. I enjoy magic in my MMOs, but I fucking hate it in books like this. I fucking hate it in books like this. It's so annoying, chat. Like, the second I found out there was magic in this, I was like, oh, fuck, it's gonna be one of those. There's magic in the story, yep, so I'm 49% of the way through. And at some point, I don't remember which chapter it was in exactly. Can I bookmark where I am? Bookmark. Okay. What chapter was it? Was it in The Sweet Taste of Winter? So starting from page 108, they talk about this thing called the Peru tree. They say, I have highlights, chat, I have highlights. The tree, okay, so I'm quoting, to pick perus from trees, you have to heat up the branch, holding it to soften it, but you can't use any fire when you up on top of the tree. Nice translation. The tree's special powers will poof the fire away, so you have to take off your gloves and warm it with your bare hands. And I talk a bit more. You can only pick perus before noon. Once noon comes and the sun rises, sunlight falls into the forest, and like the peru leaves start shining, and the trees start shaking, and the leaves all start making swishy, swashy noises. Once the leaves start making noises, the peru trees start stretching toward the sun. They grow taller than the rest of the trees in the forest, and then they start shaking like a girl swinging her hair around, like rustle, rustle, swish, sway. And then it talks a bit more about the tree, and I'm just sitting here like, oh. Why? Magic isn't handled like usual isekai in this. It's more like a disease for poor people. What the fuck? So yeah, the magic tree. The magic tree. No spoilers. No spoilers. So I had that read out. Or I had that read out. I read that out. And wow! Just my hope instantly sank. No spoilers. My hope just like instantly sank. Because God, I fucking hate magic and isekai. Like, I'm sorry, chat. But like, I already hate how in isekais everything is so convenient, right? Like, one of the things about isekais is that there's already a massive power imbalance. Are you saying it makes for lazy writing? You know what, 𝐒𝐡𝐴𝐻, if you want to just go straight for the fucking throat, yeah, I think magic makes for really lazy writing in a lot of these. Sometimes magic is interesting in a story and it makes things interesting. But you know, I looked at this cover and I was like, oh, this looks fine. And I read the beginning, you know, and I'm reading and it's like, oh, everything's fine. And I just know in this story, either she's gonna develop magic powers and she's gonna be hella OP and she's gonna impress everybody, or she's gonna meet somebody else who does no no magic and is super OP and can do everything for her and is gonna fucking Deus Ex Machina absolutely fucking everything. It's gonna be so tiring. It's gonna be so tiring. I just know it. And I'll eat crow. I'll eat crow if I'm wrong, you know, but like... That doesn't happen. Why not both? Pippa knows too much. Doesn't happen? We'll see. We'll see. I don't know. Start eating crow, you will eat crow? We'll see. We'll see. Another thing that's kind of irked me about this story so far is the inconsistency with the parents. Not so much both the parents, mostly just the mom. Where was it? I do have good things to say. I do have good things to say. I have bad things to say. Like, I have this one thing. I had this at Neighborhood Boys chapter. The chapter Neighborhood Boys at page 59. I just have this one note written out, and it says animeisms, Lamau. And the part that I highlighted says, "Shu's just a big dummy." Dummy. Like it's written out like that. D-U-U-U-U-U-U-U-U-M-M-Y. Dummy. And I'm saying here like, oh my fucking god. This was written to be an anime. This was written to be a fucking anime. Back. Back. And then page 60, I have another note that just says, no. And it's, oh no, Lutz has a powerful color scheme. Golden blonde hair and jade green eyes alone make him look like a super cool, handsome guy. And all I can think of is, girl, you're in fucking college and this is a little boy. This is a little boy. Why are you getting all flustered from a little boy? Stop! Stop calling the little boy handsome! Stop! Super cool, handsome guy, he's 5! He's a 5-year-old! You're 5 years old right now! Stop! She's not in college anymore. She's a fucking because she literally never paid attention to men as an adult. Dude. Your Honor, my client's not a pedophile. He simply is very underdeveloped in the romantic area of his life. It's anime, so it's okay. If you want to view it like that, it's anime, so it's okay. I get it. I get it. Anime makes it okay. But it's just, it was so fucking weird. It was so fucking weird. It just felt so like you just got reborn into this world and she gets all flustered from a 5-year-old. A 5-year-old! Giving her a compliment! Oh, it was so weird. There was foreshadowing. It was very on the nose. That's kind of a plus. She is also 5. No, she is in the body of a 5-year-old. Mentally, she's fucking 23. Yeah. Mentally, she's 23, but physically, she's 5. So it's okay. See, listen, the way I view things. Listen, okay, I guess I kind of unironically prescribe to that. It's okay because she's 1,000 years old thing, you know? It's like, if she was 1,000 years old, if he was 1,000 years old and looked 5, okay, maybe I can understand, right? Because you're being talked to by somebody that's like mentally mature. But that's a fucking like 5-year-old and you're 23. Stay away from children. Like, it just, She just said he was handsome. The whole scene is her like getting flustered. Yeah, we legit see it from her point of view, so no excuse for her. She's also a child. She's not a child. She's 23 years old. She's not a child. She's 23 years old. It's explained later, but she's 23! She herself was ashamed of that. You don't need to be ashamed too. She was ashamed of like how fucking fucking inept she is. Oh man. Brain of a child, memories of a 23-year-old. If their age is on the clock. Oh god. But she's a kid too. She's 23! Pippa, mind is not separate of the physical. I mean, I see where you're coming from with that, right? Because, like, the brain does develop the older that you get. But, like, she's shown to be... Like, she acts like she's 23, right? She acts like she's 23. The things that she can, the things that she does that are like, oh yeah, a 5-year-old would do that. Like when she starts pouting and everything, it's like, well, I mean, she's got fucking transported into another world and has no idea what's happening. What do you mean, not really? She has complex reasoning skills. She has complex reasoning skills. What do you mean? That's way too much like an adult at times. How does she act 23? Okay, what fucking, like, 5-year-old? What fucking... Okay, you point to me, chat. What 5-year-old understands consequence? What 5-year-old? What 5-year-old can plan several steps ahead beyond just like, I'm gonna grab the blue Lego and then I'm gonna grab the green Lego and then I'm gonna grab the yellow Lego, right? Complex reasoning skills mean Jack in a world with entirely different morals and laws from the original world. That has nothing to do with what I'm saying. Yeah, Pippa, you're only 3. Explain yourself. 3 in rabbits! 3 in Phasewell rabbit. I only learned complex reasoning in my 20s. What 23-year-old understands consequence? You know, when you point out that she's a college kid specifically, I guess that's fair. What 5-year-old cares enough to make paper by themselves so they could have it? Isn't the headline that $5 chat could compete for the Olympics with the mental gymnastics factory? Not the chat. Oh god. Okay, one line that I liked is on page 99. She says, in other words, my mom taught me the importance of self-satisfaction. Danny D, thank you for the $5. Oh yes, the mental age versus physical age discussion. This will be a 4-hour stream for sure. I like it. She's talking about how her mother would like unplug the TV to save on the electricity bill, but then she'd also like fall asleep with the TV on. I really like that. That was a cute moment. It's like, oh. The full line. The full paragraph, I'll read it out to you guys. There was no argument against being frugal. Even my mom, back in Japan, did all sorts of things in the name of saving money. She would unplug the TV from the wall to save on the electricity bill, and yet fall asleep with it still on. She'd cut off water when brushing her teeth to save on water, but leave it on when washing dishes. In other words, my mom taught me the importance of self-satisfaction. Which, first of all, fuck you. Turning off the water when you're doing dishes is a fucking time sink. It's a fucking time sink, right? Like if you're sitting there and then you have to adjust the water back, right? Because if it sits for too long or whatever, like if you're watching a pot, the water might get cold and shit. It's like, man, no. A sink is involved, yes, Pippa. Shut up. Get it? Sink? Do you even wash your dishes, Pippa? I have a 900 IQ way. I have a 900 IQ way of washing my dishes. And it's called every time I put food in the microwave or when I'm heating up my cup of coffee for the 5th time. I just wash some dishes. Because really, like, if you do 4 minutes here, 4 minutes there, 2 minutes here, 2 minutes there, you know, like, you burn through stuff. You use a microwave, yeah. Just drink the coffee. No, I like my coffee to be at the perfect temperature, which it is for approximately 1 minute. 1 minute! And then it gets too cold to drink and I have to go heat it up again. You only wash dishes once every 5 uses? What? Where did you get that from? I said when I'm heating up my cup of coffee for the 5th time. Clearly, you don't own an air fryer. Real 5-year-olds think love is kissing and think that it's gross? Yeah, based 5-year-olds. You microwave coffee? Yes, I'll microwave my fucking coffee to make it warm again! You only wash after the 5th time? Oh my god. I do kind of prescribe to that though, too. You know, like, if you have your breakfast plate... You know, if I have my breakfast plate sitting on my desk here, you know, and it's like, oh, I had some eggs for breakfast. You know, if I then have, like, macaroni and cheese for dinner, right? Just scoop the macaroni and cheese onto the plate. Why grab another plate? Just use the same plate. I just assumed you use disposable silverware. No, but I do use wheatgrass. I do use wheatgrass plates and forks and everything, silverware. I don't like the feel of metal on my teeth. And I don't like the taste of metal. Use the stove, touch grass. No, fuck you. I mean, I also reuse dishes for a bit before actually washing the based beef pie. Rotten food particles are on the plate. Dude, the fucking eggs from breakfast do not get rotten by the time it is time for dinner. Why not just wash the plate? Why not just not wash the plate? If it hasn't been sitting out all night, who cares? Do you bite down on the fork? No. It's just sometimes, like, your tongue touches the fork and stuff, and it's like, eh. You're not supposed to taste or bite the metal, you actual babega. Why risk it? Why risk it when wheatgrass plates work just fine? Why are you guys harassing me over stupid shit? Pippa hygiene regressing. No, because back in the day, I'd use the same plate over and over again for multiple days, right? Like, I'd have, like, fucking dried steak sauce, and then a layer of eggs, and then a layer of, like, mac and cheese. This plate is mostly clean. Man, Pippa really has picky. You lack discipline. I've gotten so much better! Fuck off! Listen, if there's no hair or dust or mold on the plate, it's fine! It's fine! Well, but you shouldn't, so I don't do that anymore. Now I have a 1-day limit on reusing my plates. Boss lady, that sounds off! Did you ever get to the point of eating with your hands? Yeah, so I learned some food does not need to be put on a plate, right? So I know, like, waffles? You know, when you eat, like, Eggo waffles? You know, you pop that shit into the toaster. You pop that into the toaster, you don't need to put that on a plate. You don't need a plate for that. You don't need a fork for that. You grab the Eggo waffle, and you take it with you. You don't need delicious Leo. Shut up, Jack. Eggo waffles do not need to be put on a plate. Bagels? Bagels are also finger food, but for some reason people think, oh, I should put my bagel on a plate. You don't need to put your bagel on a plate. Linguiça? Sausage? Why grab a plate? You know, if you're gonna make linguiça or sausage or whatever, you know, you can just stick it in you can stick it with a fork. You can fit like 3 sausages. 3 of like the tiny breakfast sausages, right? You can stick like 3 of those on a fork. You take the fork with you. I would not touch sausages manually because they get like greasy and the little black charred bits come off on your hands. I don't like that. Why are so many VTubers unrepentant hikis? I am very repentant. Pippa, no, everything bread-based needs a plate. The crumbs, the ants! Nah. But, these translators are great. But what if you want to set something down, then you set it down on your lap? You set it down on your lap, what do you mean? Pippa has mice confirmed. No, but one time in like a very cringy past of mine. So I had this bug crawling on my wall and I took a picture and I sent it to my friends. I was like, hey, what is this? I sent it to my little Skype group. I was like, what is this? Does anybody in here know what this is? And they were like, Pippa, that's a maggot. And I was like, I need to clean my room. Cringy past last week. Yeah. Pippa Gross confirmed. Y'all should have known this already. No, it's not now, Chad. It's not now. I haven't been like this in years now, okay? I haven't been like this in years now. Listen, my stream room has one paper plate. My plate from ham. My plate of ham. And then a cup of coffee from yesterday morning. And then a few cans. But it's not bad. There's nothing on the floor. That's a huge improvement. There's nothing on the floor. There are a bunch of candy wrappers. I recently took a bunch of stuff out. Oh, that's a soy sauce packet. Why paper plates? I don't know. Sometimes I just decide to use paper plates. I don't really have a rhyme or reason. Nothing on the floor yet. I will not let floor dirt accumulate. You drink day old coffee? No. No. It's just I was too lazy to take it out. The wonder Pippa chose to smash my Pokemon. She's been living with them in a room. I'm like, shut up! And then they give her the $1. How many bags of clearance V8 chocolate? I did not go out to get any. I really said yesterday, I was like, yeah, tomorrow I'm gonna get out and I'm gonna go buy some. And then I didn't. I still don't feel the greatest. I just don't want to go out, man. Anyways, back to the book. One creative line. On page 10, after she wakes up from being dead, she goes, thankfully though, my tears were apparently serving as makeshift lenses, as I could see farther. I could see far farther than I usually could without my glasses. And I thought that was a cute little line. She doesn't realize she's in a new body or anything yet. So when she has like these tears in her eyes, it doesn't occur to her that, oh, like I have a different body and that's why I can see farther. She thinks it's the tears working as magnification, which is not how that works, but it was a very cute line, you know? Very, very creative. And then on page 50, chapter Lifestyle Overhaul, there's a line that says, cute girls deserve to be nice and clean. Look at that, chat. You deserve to be nice and clean. Cute and suffering. Page 69, learning to respect Egyptian culture. She says, you would think learning something from a book would be enough to just do it, right? But think hard about it and you'll realize that things really aren't that simple. So I liked this line. I like this line, and it's very valid. And it's kind of what I was talking about earlier, how I hate how that one manga, the girl just reads a book and she memorizes everything from it. Tully is an angel. I have some things to talk about with Tully. But then it also annoyed me that, like, you don't know, like, what fucking... Like, you've never heard of, like, Pulp Fiction or anything? Like, I don't know. I just... Some of the things that she talks about, it feels like she should be able to remember the concepts, She should be able to remember the concepts at the very least. So it's very strange to me. I don't know. And then some things make me very curious. Like, what fucking wood was the dad using to make the thin sewing needles? Like, what? Maybe I just... you know what? I don't know that much about sewing. I could be so far off, right? But... you can only get wood so thin before it fucking, like, snaps, right? Before putting the slightest amount of pressure on it would snap. Needles used to be made of bone and wood. How small, though, are the needles? Like, using wood and needles to make lace? More like yarn sticks? If they're yarn sticks, I understand. I think bone is more sturdy than wood. Usually hardwood is used for needles. Depends a lot on what type of wood it is. Somebody brought up toothpicks, but sewing needles are a lot smaller than toothpicks. Crochet needles are still pretty thick, but she's using them to sew lace, right? She's using these very tiny needles. And Pippa out here not making lace with wood. Like, she's making lace. What's the term for sewing lace? I don't know. An old fabric was very different compared to modern fabric. They mostly used trome wood for furniture and tools, so it's probably trome. No, she was crocheting. She was using thin thread to make little lace ornaments. You can actually see them on here. You can actually see them on her book and beside her. I don't know where my cursor is. Do I have it saved? So she's making these very delicate little lace flowers. And I just don't know, those are crochet lace. Can you? Oh, I guess you can. Oh, I see. Okay, I was imagining, okay, what do the needles for that look like? Okay, I was imagining something like more like, what's that, yeah, she's crocheting thread, not lacing fabric. You're imagining modern thread? I was imagining like, very fine... what's it called? I don't fucking remember. I don't fucking remember. I was imagining something different though. Like when they were talking about the thread. Twine, yeah, I was thinking more like twine. Embroidery! Yes, I was thinking like embroidery. I was thinking she was like embroidering these, and then I was wondering like what is she using as like a base? Like you don't just embroider directly, like you need something to put it on. And then with lace, it's like you tear off the back, or you or with embroidery you like tear off the back, or there's like the fabric, or not the fabric, there's like that paper that like soaks in water. Okay. She uses them for hair ornaments. Yeah, just the way that they were described, I thought they were talking about twine is for fishing. There's like the thin fabric twine. That twine is like plastic. Pippa hit up D3 for based embroidered merch. He is down. But yeah, so I was confused on that. Just look up bone needles and you'll find examples that aren't that much larger than a modern steel needle. But for, like, wood... I don't know, I just don't see wooden needles working like that. But if they're like... I guess that's actually them right there. I guess in the illustration, that's them right there. But yeah, I was thinking more like embroidery. But I guess it's more, it's crocheting. With a sharp knife, you can carve really small. That's not the problem, though. The problem... Like, you can make very thin stuff, right? You can make very thin stuff. But the problem is, like, handling it. And poking it through things, and... Just go outside and touch wood. Wood is harder than you think. Bruh. Zoom and enhance. Nah. How thin is the wooden needle she's using? I thought she was doing like embroidery, so I thought it'd be much smaller. But yeah, it's definitely crochet needles. I could beat up a tree. Old fabric is pretty weak? I disagree. I disagree. A lot of old fabric is pretty, like, the fibers are more spaced out, but I disagree that it's weak. Spoiler wood is the best one around. Oh. I'm sure if you have enough time, you can carve a small wooden needle. Yes, you can carve a small wooden needle, but poking it through fabric. Yeah, old fabric is pretty thick and strong. Medieval age peasant fabric, super weak. See, I disagree. I disagree. I'm sure it depends on like what region and what the fabric is made out of. But like a lot of old fabric is very hardy. It's very hardy. It's easier to make when you're working with larger fibers. And yeah, and because the whole thing of like stuff being like light and flowy, like was sought after. Essentially sackcloth, yeah. Clothing had to be durable. It was for survival, not for fashion, yeah. This is something you're pipkin about, not really. Why would you want to use medieval peasant clothes? Just wear a burlap sack. I mean, unironically, people have used burlap for clothes. So, wasn't it made from bigger thread and therefore bigger gaps? Yeah. It had to be tough because people only owned a few clothes. Denim wasn't a thing till like the 1800s. But it depends on the clothes. But I definitely would not say old clothing, like medieval clothing. I would not call it thin. I would not call it weak. To be fair, it was common for peasants to use hide from the animals they hunt. People still do that. What do you mean? That's still very common. Hide is just leather. People, like a lot of, I mean, leather jackets for a start, and then there's, people using leather for the inside of jackets, and... Pippa, you can remember the Dark Ages. Not really. Leather comes from animals. Oh my god. I've heard of shipwreck survivors sewing clothes with bone needles from seal hides. I imagine it was something like that. Seal hides would be very thick. Peasants didn't really hunt. Lords didn't like peasants hunting on their land and taking their animals. I'm gonna need you to like specify what, I guess, regions you're talking about, because I strongly disagree. I strongly disagree. Throughout time, hunting has been integral for the lower classes' survival. in a large variety of places. Not everybody farms under feudalism. Peasants can hunt, but only birds and no game. There is super conserved fabric from the Neolithic, super sturdy. Pippa, you are terrible at history. No, I think you guys are fucking insane with some of these things. I think you guys are fucking insane with some of these. Hunting is just like a basic thing that a lot of people had to do. Look it up then, Pippa. I will look it up. In England, hunting land was limited. So, okay, so in England, maybe. In England, maybe, but like, it was forbidden for peasants. Are you talking specifically in, like, under feudalism in England? Chad, what time period and what country are you guys talking about? It depends on where for the hunting thing. Yeah, in England, they specifically forbade it. Okay. In America, there was so much land that no one cares. In that game, Kingdom Come, it's illegal for you to take game. I've never played that. England and France had pretty strict enforcement on hunting. It's different in every region. Yes, it is very different in every fucking region. America also didn't have nobles. Why do they think they call America the land of the free? Most countries had more restrictions. Well, other countries... Oh, sorry, I won't... Medieval hunting history. Hunting laws. Only the monarch or his servants hunted in the forest. Permission to hunt in forest could also be gained by the granting of a royal license. Isn't this a fictional setting? Why would it conform so strictly to history? It really wouldn't. How's it in Phase World? Well, most of Western Europe was strict. History didn't start until 1776. Amen, brother. Because mangakas are Westabu nerds. I don't know about that. Japanese are often really pedantic like that in their descriptions. Here's my problem. Here's my problem with Japanese novels a lot of the times. Is they'll be very detailed about very specific things and then miss a lot of like larger concepts with things. Or they'll pick something thematically that is just fundamentally not correct, and it's like you can go into the description, like you can go into high detail. You can go into high detail about specific things, but if you are just largely wrong, then it doesn't really matter. You can't be an expert on literally everything. No, but you can be well researched. And I really feel like with some of these mangaka, that what they do is they'll pick something like, okay, like, commerce. You know, let's do commerce. And then they fail on the broad scale of things, but then they'll look up like very specific concepts to shove into the world. They get some reference material and base it loosely on that. And then they shove in the things. They shove in like these specific concepts that make you go like, oh, that's pretty thought out. And then you're like, oh, but... Food is something they always go hard on. I really don't know anything about food. Hard to research when you're chained to your desk for those weekly chapters? Can you give an example of these concepts? Not off the top of my head. There was one manga that I was reading that did this though, where it was about sewing. It was about sewing, and this girl is really into like fashion. This is the only example I can think of off the top of my head. I think it's called like Not So Wicked Stepmom. And the things that she goes on talking about are just wrong at points. It's hard to explain. If you guys give me time, like after stream or whatever, I can bring up specific examples, but it's very hard to go in depth. Yes, this is wrong because this is what this character exactly said. Every isekai character know how to cook professionally and bathe like their lives depended on it. That'd be cool, fair enough. I don't mind doing that. Sometimes translators fudge with the technical stuff. Every isekai protagonist's long-term goal is to find rice. Deconstruction stream would be pretty neat. You analyze your Korean smut this way too. I don't read Korean smut, so... You mean they didn't do research beforehand? Okay, here's like the best way I can put it. It feels like a lot of isekai is written out, and they pick specific things they want their character to be smart in, and they're typing it, and they're typing it, and they're like, oh yeah, and then they do this, and then they do that, and then they complain about corsets, and then they go on this specific rant about the history of fashion, and now I need to do research on the history of fashion. And then it's like, okay, well, corsets weren't in style during this time that you're bringing up and you're focusing the fashion on. So it's like they pick some fun facts and then forget the rest. Yeah. Sounds like you need to read male fantasy isekai, not female fantasy isekai. A lot of male fantasy isekai is just power fantasy. Still better written than reincarnated as a slime. Somehow he knows how to make everything because he is of a Gary Stu ability. Western authors make samurai akin to knights when the samurai are not a one-to-one knights. I have no idea what samurais were actually like. Won't happen in Bookworm. Mine gets things wrong all the time. Women fantasy is about corsets. That was an example. In my opinion, there are some authors that have legitimate interest and other authors that think they need to show up some niche topic into their story as a gimmick. I definitely agree with that. You mean they add in details to give the illusion of depth in a subject without totally understanding it or researching? Yes. Falling Flora, thank you for the $2. It's my isekai and I choose to spread the facts. Oh, it's my isekai and I choose this. Oh my god. They pick and choose, yeah. Don't read the harem isekai, there's plenty of warfare otaku isekai. Yeah, now that I'm using Google Books, I think I might pick up some, like there's one story I wanted to read. I think it's called like 85 or something like that. I tend to assume they're passionate enough about the subject to do their research and assume they're right, maybe. 86? Yeah, 86 looks really good. I wanted to pick it up. I haven't read it, chat. Read the school shooter girl isekai? I'm gonna need to know the name. Tomoko. A writer can only devote so much time to research that's disregarding the genre they are doing. If they're doing a fantasy type, they can't really be bothered to devote time to be absolutely accurate. Then don't fucking use it as your gimmick. Don't use it as your gimmick if you don't know a lot. Like, okay, Spice and Wolf, if the guy had no idea about economics, Spice and Wolf would be trash. But because the author of Spice and Wolf has a very in-depth knowledge about economics, we regard Spice and Wolf as a very good series, right? So why do we not apply that to other books? Why do other books get a pass and we say, oh, well, you can't expect them to know everything? Well, you fucking should have some idea if you're gonna use it in your fucking story. Most people don't care to look up if the things the author writes is correct. It's not just looking stuff up though, it's if you catch something in the story that's wrong. How is Spice and Wolf trash on sub? That's literally not what I said. That is the opposite of what I said. The second you're reading something, and you catch a detail that's wrong, it's like, okay, well, what else is wrong, right? You lose that benefit of the doubt. And then if you start noticing, oh, well, that doesn't sound right, it fucking ruins the story for me. We need examples. What do you mean you need examples? I just gave you an example! Because not all the authors have the freedom to devote that much effort into the premise. We also have to take into account deadlines and pressure from editors. Then don't use it in your story! Then don't use it in your story. You give us a concept, not an example. Oh my god. Do you like any isekai? Don't use niche topics just like we make fun of people who don't know how guns are. You know what? You know what? There you go, chat. Non-isekai example. You guys probably all know it though. You guys probably all fucking know it. Was it Sonic 06? Was that the game where you have Shadow the Hedgehog pump his fucking assault rifle? He goes to fucking like pump it. It's not a fucking what? It's not a pump action gun, but he goes to. No, that was Shadow the Hedgehog. Okay, Shadow the Hedgehog. His own game. Okay, there we go. Brandon, thank you for the $10. Why I loved reading Saga of Tanya the Evil novel. The author was a history buff who knew such niche stuff that he made me feel stupid and had to Google stuff. I want to read that. That was his own game and it was an MP5. That was a fantasy rifle. No need to be accurate! No need to be accurate! It's fantasy! It's fantasy! Oh, God. It's like when you see something like that happen. At some point it stops being fiction and becomes Wikipedia. What do you mean? Literally, yes, no need to be accurate. I strongly disagree. I think if you don't know about the topic, then you should educate yourself. Okay, listen, maybe I have too high of standards for books. Maybe I'm too fucking picky. But I don't like my books to be brain food, or junk food. I don't want it to be brain rot. I don't want it to be junk food, because then what's the difference between what I'm reading and fucking Twilight? Why can we hold Twilight to a certain standard and agree that Twilight is a trash book? Then when it's fucking got an anime chick on the cover, then we're like, oh, facts don't actually matter. It's fiction. Oh, the writer's under deadlines. Oh, it's so My girl dropped out educate yourself. Well, were you serious about? No, I fucking said I didn't enjoy that series. I only read it so I can join the roleplay groups. Because 2D over 3D, Twilight as a book is neither 2D anime girls nor is it 3D guys or whatever, right? Because when it's in a book form, if you slapped an anime girl on the cover, what is it then? Look at how many books, look at how many fucking Western books get, like Alice in Wonderland, right? Alice's Adventures in Wonderland has some copies that have anime illustrations on the cover. Isekai novels are Twilight for dudes and I enjoy it. It's okay to enjoy bad things. Danny, they give us $5. Why are you booing me? I'm right, and you are right. I am fucking right! Why did they just take the Eagles to Mordor? Completely unrelated. I hate when they do that, to be honest. Keep the original covers. Sometimes the original covers suck. Man, I just... Did you read Aragon back in the day? Read Aragon back in the Pippa? Back in the day? Back in the day, Pippa? I tried it and I didn't like it. Vane, thank you for becoming a big pippy. Twilight was focused on a specific demographic and borrowed very loosely from vampire lore, also disregarding it completely, so you can't really say that it required detailed research. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, why can we hold one thing to a standard? Why can we say Twilight is a bad book? And we can't say isekai. Certain isekais are bad. If standards just don't matter. Aragon was fun, but it was literally written by a 15-year-old. Oh, it kind of felt like it. Nate Sizzle, thank you for the $10. Fun fact, Pippa, you're not wrong on this rant. This is exactly what they teach you in any creative class, like my art professor. You have to know the rules to break them. I agree. I fucking agree with your professor. You have to know the rules to break them. Could Twilight be bad completely unrelated to the amount of research done into the subject? Yes. Yes, Twilight can be bad, regardless of the amount of research done. But if we're saying a book, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if a book has thought and extra work put into it. If we're saying isekai, well, we can't expect the author to do research because they have deadlines. Well, then what can we judge a book for? Twilight is considered bad. Twilight is considered bad. Why isn't Twilight considered good? Like, I see what you're saying here. Like, okay, so an isekai should not require research. Twilight had no research. Twilight can be bad for other reasons. But what are these standards that we're inventing here? What are these standards that we're inventing here? Why do they apply? When do they apply? And what are they? Because if we're taking the standard rules of something in that something needs to be knowledgeable on what it's talking about, who's making standards outside of you? Well, you know, technically we all make our own standards. Light novels is usually the junk food of literature. It really is. The standards are subjective, although not arbitrary. Twilight is an outright bad story, not because it is imperfect in certain aspects. Not every work of art is a labor of love. Like, some movies are blockbusters and some are Oscar movies. I don't think I don't think that's the same. I think a lot of love went into the Iron Man movie. That was meant to be a blockbuster, I'm pretty sure. Every guy would enjoy Twilight if it was Rule 63. I don't know, it's still a really shit story. I don't think making the Rule 63 is like when you gender swap, right? I don't think making the girls and the guys and the guys and the girls, I don't think that changed anything. It is a shit story. But if you slapped an anime girl on the cover, you know, maybe. Iron Man 2, not so much. Yeah, Iron Man 2 had no love. Be even worse then. Just about never becoming a big PP. Isekai stories, even within the scope of anime literature, are generally considered bad. Oh man. Check out the story of Jure Grando, first account of a vampire ever. Fascinating. I will have to look it up. Best part of this anime, someone... we're not talking about the anime, we're talking about the book. My point is, chat. My point is, putting it simply, we should have standards. And when you don't have standards, then anything is good, right? And stuff can be enjoyable. Stuff can be enjoyable, even if it's not really good. But fuck it, man. The second something starts going on about something that it's not knowledgeable about and presenting it as definitive fact and like, oh yeah, this is... Because like, it's one thing to like mention something in passing, right? Listen, I'm not talking about when it's like, What's an example of this? Fuck, I'm so bad at coming up with examples on the fly, chat. I'm so fucking bad at coming up with examples on the fly. But like, God. I get too fucking anxious and my brain just goes woo when I'm streaming. If you're watching a movie made in like fucking... The movie was made in like 2020 and the movie is set in like 2003 and somebody has a fucking Motorola Razr or whatever, you know? You know, or maybe like it's set in like 2006. Where did the Motorola Razr come out? What, like 2008 maybe? I don't know. And it's like, yeah, maybe that phone didn't technically come out then, you know, but who cares? You know, it's such a little detail. It's such a little detail, all right? But then if a character sits there and starts taking apart that Motorola Razr and is like, this is how they work. This phone was invented in this time and this phone does this and it's like, well, actually, this movie came out like multiple... This movie's time period is like years before that happens. 2004. The fucking Motorola Razr came out in 2004? Are you shitting me? No way. No way. The little details really end up mattering if there are too many bad ones. That is true. That is 2004. Oh my god. Okay, so if it's 2003. If it's 2003 and there's a Motorola Razr, not a big deal. But the second you call too much attention to it, it puts me off the story. It puts me off the story. Fucking hell, it did. Oh my god. I wanted one so bad when I came out as a kid. The Razr was around before. Oh my god. Oh my god! Pippa old confirm. I'm not old. I'm not old! 2004 was 81 years ago. An anachronism is a chronological inconsistency in some arrangement, especially a juxtaposition of people, events, objects, language, terms, and customs from different time periods. I like hanging around in Pippa's streams, makes me feel young. Candy game, leave it to $10. It's called Dramaturge, Pippa. You weren't a theater kid. No, I was not a themer. I was not a tumor kid. I wasn't in theater. I don't know all the fucking words for this, man. I've just read a lot of fucking books. I've read a lot of fucking books, and I have specific concepts, and I don't know the word for all of them, but I fucking hate them. You've read a lot of trash. I have read a lot of trash. So what do you think of the book so far, Pippa? It's boring. Then invent paper, Pippa. I could probably make paper. It wouldn't be good paper, but I could make paper. Prove it? I highly doubt that, Pippa. Listen, I could make the shitty kind of like, I could make like the shitty paper that makes it look like it's one of those, you guys know when you go into Barnes and Nobles and it's like, yeah, look at this book made out of entirely recycled materials. And you're like, oh. That paper is like an inch thick. Okay. I could probably do that. Paper mash, yeah. A lot of isekai just have semi-interesting premises just to completely fall off. A lot of isekais really do lack love. A lot of isekais, it really feels like the fucking author just got a school assignment and the cash prize is $5 for the person with the highest grade, and the person that gets the highest score on the assignment gets $5, and you got these isekai writers tapping away. And then there's a dragon, and then the character, they awaken in another world, and then they remember how to create trains because they read a book on how to make trains, and they went to a museum, and there were trains in the museum. Send. Isekais lack love because they need to pander to their audience. That's basically how isekai writers start. They're just writing fanfiction based off of each other's hobbies on a specific site. That's quite literally the best description of the isekai genre I've ever heard. Oh, thank you. Bookworm doesn't pander and it sucks. I'm enjoying the kind of slow-paced stuff, but there's a lot of things in this story. Like, there's too much of an emphasis on characters for the characters to be too poorly written, in my opinion. Wow, literally on the same page, actually. Page 81. No. Yes, page 81. I'm gonna read off to you a bit of this page. So they're making candles. I'm trying to look at the best place to start from this. Oh god, I don't want to read fucking multiple pages. Okay. Dad told me to come help you, Mom. Really, we've just about finished here, so we're about to start preparing the lights. We luckily ended up with extra beeswax this year. We're also going to use beef tallow and fruits to make candles and oil for lamps. It all sounded like a real pain. I had been smelling the nasty scent of animal oil wafting from nearby homes for several days, and just imagining smelling the same stink from my own kitchen made me depressed. Tuli started work on extracting oil from fruits. But since I was too weak to wield the hammer well, I had no excuse. I could only watch beside Mom as she put beef tallow into our largest pot and set it over the fire. It stinks so bad. Stay strong, me. Despite the smell being so bad I could barely breathe, Mom casually melted the tallow and picked out the dregs that rose to the surface. Surprisingly, however, that was all she did before starting to finish up. Wait, Mom, that's all? You're not going to salt it out? Should I? No, I'll just keep it. Come again? Oh no, I guess this is obvious, but salt it out didn't get translated. So basically, she doesn't know the word for salting something in the language of the world she got transported into. So her mom doesn't understand what she's saying. Mom shot me a little glare that said, "Are you complaining about my work?" But I swallowed my fear and tried to explain without salting. Sorry. But I swallowed my fear and tried to explain what salting out was in as simple terminology as possible. You put salt water in and then boil it a bit to get more junk out? Salt water. If you leave it in for a bit afterwards, the oil will harden on top and leave just the salt water on bottom, right? You can pour out the water and then just use the pure oil. It's a bit more work, but the oil will smell better and be higher quality. As if reacting to the phrase higher quality, Mom began salting the oil out. Right? Okay. So her mom listened to her and has started using salt on the beef tallow. And then you have in the same page, you have the main character remarking, "Sheesh, why do they trust me so little?" And there's like this reoccurring thing of the character just being listened to with just bizarre shit. Like the adults around her will just will do what she says, right? The adults around her will just do what she says sometimes and listen to her suggestions sometimes. And then other times we'll just not listen to her. And the character will be like, "Why do they not trust me?" And the other characters will be like, "Oh, this is just like a dumb kid," or "Oh, this kid's being so annoying." And it's like, her parents are NPCs. Well, they really are. I find it hard to believe a mom from that era would be open-minded to taking suggestions from a child. Yeah, I do as well. And then I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. But like, I'll end there today. Thank you for the $1. It looks like I took the right decision by skipping the book and watching the anime instead. I don't know. Suspend disbelief, Pippa. It's really hard. It's really hard with these. But then there's just a lot of random, like, inconsistencies as well that are kind of like, it doesn't feel like it was planned out, I guess? Like, it really just felt like they just started typing and they just kept going, because there's another, not long after that, she has the idea to put herbs in the candles. Wow, so that's how you make candles. Don't just watch mine, help. Tuli was mad, so in order to help, I grabbed some smell-blocking herbs and stuck them to some of the hardening candles. If these worked, I would put more herbs into all of them. Mine don't play around. Just these, okay? Don't you want candles that don't stink too, Tuli? Please. Definitely just these, understand? Tuli drove that home, so I gave a big nod. I didn't know whether it would work or not, so I had no intention of messing with all of them. I put different herbs into each candle so I'd be able to see which worked the best. So it starts off like, they're gonna be done with the candles. How do you know which ones are gonna work and which ones don't? And then they don't go into it. It just gets dropped there, and it's like, well, what the spoiler on the result of the herb candles? Not really. It just felt like the way that was going. Like maybe it's just the translation. Maybe it's the translation. Just wording things very strangely. But if these worked, I would put more herbs into all of them. Implies that if the herbs are working, then the rest of the candles she will put herbs onto. They're not making any more candles after this. They have a limited supply of the beef tallow and everything. They just got them. So I don't know. The translation of the series was really awful for the first few books. The translator literally referenced Homestuck at one point. Oh god. Next year's winter? Maybe. It's really not clear. Like, I get what it's trying to say. But as you're reading it, it doesn't work. When you go back and look at it, it's like, oh, okay, that's what she was saying. But you shouldn't have to do that. It's more explicit in the manga. Sounds like you're just misunderstanding it. I just think it could have been more clear. It is a lot of minor things, but she should have explained the salting thing by saying that she'd heard about it from someone walking past a building to make it make more sense. Maybe they haven't used the candles yet. In my opinion, if she's referring to adding herbs into future candles, then instead of saying, if these worked, I would put more herbs into all of them. It would have made sense to say, if these worked, in the future, I would put herbs into, or if these worked, I would put more herbs into future batches. Because it makes it sound like she's about to test out the candles and see if they work, but it doesn't happen, it's just... And that's not the only example of that, this is just like me picking out the little details here and there. I really don't like the family. I really don't like the family. I don't think I marked it off. I'm searching here. I don't think I saved it. But, the main character ends up saying at one point early on that Tuli must really enjoy taking care of people and must be, like, very considerate or whatever. And it's like, she's given no indication that she's like that. She's given no Tuli has given no indication that she likes helping people. She's been pretty grouchy about having to help mine. She's just well disciplined. She just listens to her parents. Her parents tell her to watch over mine and everything, so she keeps doing it. Like, Tuli makes it very clear. Multiple times. So maybe it's just maybe the author setting it up that mine's just not good at reading people. Maybe that's supposed to be like an instance of that. I hope it is. I hope it is, but I also just don't give the trust to that author. You know, I don't give trust to light novel authors that they would have the character actually do something and it turn out to be incorrect. And it be presented as right. But we'll see. We'll see. I just thought it was so dumb that mine would say that. But that's not a fault against the book. That's a fault against mine. Mine actually does do that stuff all the time. Misread the situation. They show that with her interacting with the boys. So I hope that's what it is. I hope that's what it is. And I hope it's not just like the main character handing out these weird characterizations, I guess, of other people. There are chapters from other people's point of views that paints mine differently. Maybe the MC is just dumb. I'm hoping that's what it is. I'm hoping that the main character just had a dumb moment versus the story being like, oh yeah, and conforming reality around the main character. I worry about that because that is very common. I just looked up in the JP version, and yes, it is a mistranslation. I'm so used to, oh god, I'm so fucking used to like, you see this in just media in general, right? Where like one character will be a bitch or whatever. One character will be a complete asshole. And the story will paint that character as being correct because like it was decided so. You know, like it's from the main character's point of view. So even though they were like an asshole or they made a mistake, it's painted as being correct because the main character is who did it. To be frank, she is 5. Give us so bad at examples! When the world bends around them, yes. Supposed heart of gold with no evidence of it. When it comes to books, mine very determined. Everything else very dumb. Mine is a very unreliable narrator, huh? I really get the feeling the mother does not like mine. Isn't she like 5? What do you mean? This is why you should do your JP rep so you can spare yourself of the mistranslations. She isn't 5, she's a naive college student. It could be explained away that she is just a naive and socially inept college student. My main worry is that you're so much smaller than her, mine. You might not be able to wear the same dress. Fixing it that much would be quite the ordeal. I wonder what I'll do next year. So the mom is making a dress for Tuli, the older sister. And the dress is supposed to be for Tuli's baptism. And I just thought it was kind of like, oh damn. Like Tuli, the mother is going out of her way to make like a really nice dress for Tuli's baptism. And the author says that it's like, or the mother explains that it's supposed to be like a, or I think it was the author, I don't think it was the mother, but the author explains that it's like a, it's like a really big deal. It's like a competition between mothers, basically. Who makes the best dress for the child, you know, it's like an ego thing. And I just think of the fact that like, oh, so the mother's willing to take the reputation hit for using the same dress twice? Like, aren't the other moms gonna be like, oh, you're so lazy, you just used the same dress again for your younger child. You couldn't even be bothered to make a new one. Small town things, trying to show off. Yeah, and in small towns, if you use the same dress again for stuff like that, I mean, people are really big. People are really big on that kind of stuff. Weren't they poor though? If they can make one dress, they can set aside money for another dress. I don't know if I can tell you how you're wrong because of spoilers. It's altered to be different. Kind of a spoiler with the mom. I just don't feel like the mom likes mine a lot. And especially coming from a family that did a lot of, I guess, handiwork, you know? Like in my family, I lived on basically a fucking farm, right? We had chickens, goats, sheep, okay? There was a lot of like, going out, oh, patch the fence, oh, figure out how to patch the chicken coop, doing shit like this, right? I don't want to sound egotistical, okay? I don't want to sound egotistical, but like, it was, maybe I'm projecting, because my parents never trusted my older sister with anything, right? They would send me to go do some things, right? Like, oh, the fucking pheasants are escaping. Can you go take a look and tell me like what's wrong or whatever, and we'll figure it out, you know? They never said to my sister because my sister didn't care. She'd just run off and do other shit. You know, when your parents... Maybe I'm projecting, but I feel like when your parents like you and trust you and everything, they send you out to do these things and they want you to learn. So you have these skills in the future, right? And I feel like it would be even more imperative when you desperately need these things to survive. You know, like we just did the farm stuff on the side, you know, that wasn't like our entire source of income and everything. But I feel like in that day and age, if your mother liked you and wanted you to survive and thrive in the future, that she would teach you these skills. I'm sorry, I'm popping my knuckles. She would want you to learn these skills and be able to thrive in the future, right? And when Mayan says she just doesn't want to do something, her mother just lets her not do it. Mayan is too physically frail to do things. That doesn't matter because she can still learn. She can still learn. You don't have to physically do something to learn how to do it. Her mother can teach her how to sew or how to crochet without having her actually do it. They basically expected Mayan to die. Stop giving me spoilers! Those are spoilers. Yeah, spare the rod, spoil the child. But it's just like... They sold this better in the manga? Will they actually learn though? Yes, because they're having these ideas planted into their heads. Children are like fucking sponges, and if you teach them something, they're going to absorb that knowledge. Practical experience is something different, but it'll make it easier to teach this child how to crochet and how to sew in the future. If you explain to the child, because what do you do when you're teaching somebody anyways, right? If you're teaching somebody addition, you'll write on the board, you'll say, here's 1, here's 1. 1 plus 1, 2. Okay? Look at that, I thought of an example off the top of my head. Alright? 1 plus 1 equals 2. Alright? Now, you write it down. That's how you teach people, right? You perform the action, or you perform the concept, and then you have the child do it, or you have the person you're teaching do it. So like... there's no sense in expecting someone to devote time and effort into learning something if they don't want to learn. Then you just don't care about your child. Then you just don't care about your child because you need to make your child listen and you need to make your child pay attention. It's called discipline. I know that is a foreign concept. I know that is a completely fucking foreign concept to a lot of parents in the modern age and a lot of the fucking Zoomers that grew up and a fucking like you don't know how to do jack shit and you're like, oh, I grew up just fine. I grew up just fine. Listen, if my fucking sink is broken, right, I'll just call the plumber. If my fucking desk breaks, I'll just buy a new one. Discipline is child abuse these days. It really fucking is. No, you need to coddle your kids relentlessly. God. Parents think mine is useless right now, then they need to make her not be fucking useless, or you are condemning your child to death. But your parents signed your school demerits without caring about them. True. But they taught me practical skills. Listen, my parents didn't care much about my school education, right? But they would fucking make me learn how to chop firewood. Yeah, my parents beat me and that's fine. I'm proud of you, Daniels. But please finish reading the book. I will. If mine gets stressed a little, she is sick for days. Okay, then here's a wild concept. You take things that interest your child and you apply that knowledge. Mine doesn't shut the fuck up about books. Mine doesn't shut the fuck up about books. And her mother would have a better understanding of that if she ever talked to her child. But she likes books. She's brought it up to her mother, and she's learning. She's practicing on her stone tablet. And if her mother was like, "Oh, what are you doing there?" "Oh, I'm trying to make books." "Oh, well, you know, books are bound through the use of needle and thread. You use thread to bind books. There you go. This is actually explained later. We'll see then. Her mother is too busy trying to survive to care about whatever books are. Oh yeah, books in an age where all the peasants are illiterate. You guys jump to these fucking conclusions about what I'm saying without actually listening sometimes. These parents don't even understand the concept or necessity of books. They don't need to. I'm not saying her mother needs to sit her down and be like, "Oh, let's read a book together." I'm saying you incorporate your child's interests into other things, into other topics. But the mother doesn't know what books are. I'm sure the mother is aware what books are. I'm sure she just can't afford them. Or she doesn't even need... Listen, okay? Hypothetically, she has no idea. She has no idea what a book is. She has no idea what a book is. She asked mine, "Oh, what are you doing there?" Child says, "Oh, I'm trying to make paper." Mother says, "Oh, I don't know what paper is. But that thing you're doing with the thread, maybe, or with the plant stems, maybe learning sewing could help. Learning weaving like this could help." And of course, she does not have the knowledge, because that's what she's doing, right? That's what mine is doing, is she's weaving the paper together. She doesn't need to know that mine's still probably not going to care about sewing or weaving, because she already learned about this stuff in her past life, but... Your crazy 5-year-old is interested in these things that don't exist and makes up words all the time. Why doesn't she learn about these non-existing... Why don't she learn about these non-existing words and get interested in the ramblings of a 5-year-old? Do you guys have no... oh my god, you guys have worse pipkin than I do. Because basic form of communication chat is taking something somebody is interested in and applying it where you can. Applying it to another subject. You guys have fucking worse pipkin than I do! What you're asking for would require the parent to want to devote the time to make the child interested. If it's too much effort before then, why would she try harder? Then she doesn't care about her child and she's condemning her child to death. That's why we're chatters and you're the streamer. It's like... Are they hoping to just marry her off? Are they hoping to just marry her off to somebody that will take 100% care of her? Like, a peasant man is not gonna be able to do that. A random peasant man is not gonna be... Oh, plop, oh my god. But I don't see a lot of foreshadowing. That's what daughters are for. Not marrying off to other peasants, because a peasant man is not going to be able to take care of a peasant woman that can't do jack shit. You're whining about actual serious spoiler? Well, then I will look back at the stream and I'll be like, oh my god. I'm from a third world country? Yes, that's a real thing. But here's the thing, is you never get sold, or you never marry off into higher statuses, right? Like, a peasant woman is gonna marry a peasant man. And a peasant woman, yeah, peasant women had to do a lot of work. Where are you gonna find a peasant man that's just gonna 100% take care of her? It's not like it's pointed out like, oh, she has such rare golden eyes. Every man's gonna want her. She's not a trophy. A guy would give a wedding gift to a family for a girl. Probably some livestock. Yes. Yes. But she's not gonna be able to do anything after that. Literally, yes, every man wants her because she's an isekai protagonist, but her parents don't know that! She's not a trophy, but her parents might think she is. What man is gonna be like, oh, what skills do you have? Well, none. Yeah, she will just be another mouth to feed for her husband. People could marry up, but should never marry down. Then don't think about skills, Pippa. What peasant man is like, yeah, I want a wife that's gonna do... Listen. A peasant man, okay? A working class man, you get a wife. You get a wife that holds her own, and then you get a pretty mistress. You get a trophy mistress. You don't fucking marry the mistress. The mistress can't do jack shit. The mistress is a useless bitch. She doesn't know sewing. She doesn't know cooking. Mine is a mistress. She is she's going to become like a used whore. Oh, that's too mean, maybe. But like, the mistress has one job and she better know. I'm working class. Where does my wife come from and where's my mistress application? I don't think peasants would have mistresses. Really? You don't think peasants ever had affairs? You don't think peasants ever had you don't think peasants ever had side holes that they tossed a little bit of coin to? Not in the way nobles did. Well, no shit. The nobles can provide at a much larger scale. But peasants definitely still fucking have affairs and mistresses. Official mistresses, not affair. Oh my god. Isn't that called prostitution? Sugar baby. Your peasants are pure of heart. I mean brothels. No, brothels are different. Brothels you go to. Brothels you go to and you acquire ladies of the night. Mistresses, you don't even necessarily have to sleep with them. I mean, you usually do. But mistresses is like, oh, did you see Roberta down at the tavern? Wow, she looks nice. Yeah, my wife doesn't know, but actually I meet up with Roberta on Saturdays. Roberta likes to buy eggs from me on Saturdays, so I provide a little bit extra. No, peasants didn't sleep around. The church would crucify them. Bro, when has fucking high authority ever stopped people from getting into trouble, from doing crime? Just because, listen, chat. Just because you'll have these fucking records of a time period, right, where it's like, oh yes, you see this with ancient Egypt, right? You see this a lot in ancient Egypt, where the fucking scrolls are like, ah yes, the land was pure and sacred and everything was well. There was bountiful harvest for the people. And it is because our king was so great. And then they fucking like look at the mummified remains of the people from this time period and they're like, oh no, there was a famine during this time. There was a fucking famine. You can't trust shit, chat. There is no, listen chat, sin is sin and it will always be around. If you try and fucking tell me, you know what also used to be illegal? Working on Sundays. Sundays in some places. Alright, I guarantee. People weren't. Not everybody was fucking chilling in their houses like, oh, well, it's Sunday, I can't work. It's Sunday, I can't do anything. It's Sunday, the church will be very angry with me if I work on Sunday. Nah, they're still fucking doing stuff. They were in church. You're not in church literally all day. Technically, only serfs work was forbidden. It's not gonna stop people. It's not gonna stop people. Says the lady with the mistress. I don't have a mistress! Listen, chat. If people listen to what they were told, there wouldn't need to be punishments. To talk about history, you really need to be specific about the time and place. It's literally all different everywhere, all the time. That's fair. That's very fair. I don't know what this fantasy novel is using. Like, obviously, it has European influences, right? Obviously, there are European influences. But I don't know what country it is the most heavily inspired by. I don't know what's the exact time period. Late Middle Ages? But where? And how late? Probably France. Vatican inspired, maybe? Fantasyland. I want to check stream elements. A lot easier to hide cheating back then? A lot easier to hide a lot of stuff, chat, including dead bodies. It's a lot easier to do a lot of stuff back then. Crime rates used to be so much lower. Yeah, because people just went fucking missing. You didn't know if they were murdered. Oh man, the murder rates used to be so low. The fucking murder... Oh man, there used to be like no murder. It was so rare. It probably fucking wasn't actually. It was forbidden, so nobody did it. T, some fool. Ragnar, thank you for the 158. The Burning Draft, thank you for the $1. I just realized this is a novel. I've been reading the manga. Still not great. There would be watchmen! Ain't no fucking watchmen patrolling non-stop in poor areas! Can't even fucking tell if murder even happened a lot of time. Murder rates actually were low. Were you there? Do you have a way to objectively tell? Because how do you fucking know? How do you fucking know? Especially when like there's so many ways people could be murdered back before forensic testing, right? And you'd have no idea they were murdered because you can't check for everything. You don't know if this person got hit in the head. You don't know if this person was grabbed by the hair and slammed into the fucking bottom of the staircase, or you don't know if they tripped. And if you have a couple of friends to vouch for you, who's to say you were even at that house at all? How do we know this person was murdered? The only other person that was ever around at that time was the fucking butler. But the butler was out running errands, and we have all these people to vouch for him. Maybe they died with plague instead of plague. True. Levels of violence there were considered unacceptably high by contemporaries in the 1340s. The homicide rate was around 110 per 100,000. I'm not just thinking for the 333. That belongs for the good old days where a peasant farmer could murder his mistress in peace. What's with the murder time? I just want chat till I realized that just because something gets written down doesn't mean it's real. Just because shit is written down in the history books does not mean it's real. Rose-tinted glasses are very fucking real, chat. And a little bit of common sense. There's just no fucking way. Cities were smaller and homogenous. Murder was harder to pull off, not easier. Little villages have existed since forever. And in cities, there's still plenty of ways to pull off a murder. Being around people. Because who's to say that you murdered somebody and not just that they got into an accident on their own? Just because it's in writing doesn't mean it's real. We don't actually exist. We need to wake up. Pippa, the accident wasn't your fault. That's what I said in 20th century history, and I went to the principal's office. Pippa, what in the world are you going on about medieval propaganda? I mean, it's true, but what does that have to do with my being sickly and useless job? I just want Chat to fucking realize it. Just because, okay, talking about the cheating thing, you know, just because the fucking church is like, no cheating allowed. Your neighbor's gonna narc on you if you cheat. Doesn't mean. Because who's to say that when you went into Lady Roberta's house, that she wasn't just serving you a cup of tea? Who's to say that when Lady Roberta served you a cup of tea, just as she does when you go there with your wife to drop off the eggs? It was hot coffee. I guess it's true, women love true crime. That's interesting, I like true crime. I thought more about the fact that most peasants could not afford a mistress. Not about it not being allowed. Dude, some people just enjoy the idea of cheating. Some people are just fucked in the head and just enjoy the thrill of like a forbidden romance. There's always gonna be the people. It doesn't need to have monetary gain. You don't afford a mistress, they just cheat. If you want to be scarred for life by pre-industrial crime, read Justine by Desaad. I'll check it out. You were describing concubines beforehand. I thought concubines were like kept mistresses. Concubines are like officially recognized by a system of nobility. Like it's an official title. Versus a mistress, at least in modern terms, can just be somebody that you frequently cheat with. Official side piece. They had a union. Morning, folks! How's everyone? We're getting wild in here. Concubine doesn't have the expectation of marriage. I don't think a mistress does either. What I hate most is the anime and manga can't decide between main or mine. In my version, it only says mine. Official breeder! Yabai! They come in at a bad time. Yes. Concubines are just like harems. Yeah, a harem... A concubine is just somebody in a harem. An officially recognized harem anyways. Because you can technically have a harem without being royalty and everything. We're continuing the book, or do we pick up another one? Yes, because next week, you guys should have time to catch up. I should have time to catch up. And we'll do a spoiler discussion. We're gonna discuss Volume 1, and we're gonna actually go into spoilers, if there even are any. I like Otto. Otto's nice. I thought it was a cute moment when the dad is like, you know, Otto has a wife that he loves very much when he's talking to his daughter. And his daughter is like, oh, I see where he's going with this, but I'm not gonna give him what he wants. And then she's like, oh, so you're telling me Otto is a respectable man and cherishes his wife a lot? And it's like, oh, I like that. And if I wanted to be like annoying, I could be like, oh my god, what? The dad wanting or thinking that a relationship between Otto and the girl would be okay. And it's like, eh. Miss Michael and you're becoming Big Tippy. It's medieval times. I noticed your ears twitch. I thought they were fake this whole time. No? Why does this have to be isekai and not just a fantasy? Because she's using knowledge from her previous life. In medieval, you wouldn't marry a 5-year-old? No, but you could decide, like, hey, captain guy, I want to marry your 5-year-old when she comes of age. And then the dad could be like, okay, well, prepare a dowry then, and she will be wed to you when she comes of age. And that's called arranged marriage, and that's a very real thing. So yes, he could set out to marry a 5-year-old. They could make it like an official plan. There was contracts for this kind of thing and everything. When is of age? That depends on the region. Even then, arranged marriages were closer to the same age. Don't even try it, bro. Don't even try it. Not even. Not even. Not even. Not fucking even. I don't care if it says that in any fucking history books. Okay? Because even in modern times, right? Even in modern times, that shit happens constantly. Maybe not constantly. It's not like a super common thing, I guess, especially in the more like modernized eras. But in the USA, for example, it very much does happen where somebody will be like, oh, yeah, I like your daughter. And it's like allowed to manifest. It's the minority, it's lower income areas, okay? It definitely happened where I was from. It happened in my fucking... I keep messing with my phone case and it's gonna break. But it's so addicting to play with the little rubber part of my phone case. That's what happened to my fucking aunt. It happened to my fucking auntkin, not the one that tried to drown me, but one of my aunts. Her fucking husband was just the friend of her father. This is a very valid tactic in Crusader case, by the way. Fidget phone case, yeah, that's my fidget phone case. No, my aunt did not get sold for a gold, but like it basically was like, oh, well, a friend of my grandfather liked my aunt. The friend of my grandfather was like 25 or something like that. And my aunt was, I mean, he knew her since she was like a baby. And so eventually just, they got married. Like that's just, in smaller communities and stuff, that just happens. You know, huge age gaps are not uncommon in these smaller communities. She got groomed. Sus, yeah, it is kind of sus, but that's just how like smaller communities are, you know? There's a lot of like... Age doesn't really matter in these smaller communities, okay? And especially back in the day, I imagine it really fucking didn't matter. I want to marry this baby when she grows up. Unironically, that's what fucking people will do. And also, thank you for the $2. Tell your parents I'll take you out their hands. I can offer two sheep. I don't think it was 333. Wow, posters, don't worry if you're a Hollywood politician. 12 is still considered of age. Oh no. talking only with anecdotal evidence. I'm talking from life experience, man. Yeah, it's fucking anecdotal evidence, but if it fucking happens to just a random person, that's like saying, oh, you saw somebody get murdered, so that's just anecdotal evidence. Just because you saw somebody get murdered doesn't mean that murder happens. So if it happens even in the fucking modern day, where the shit is more like regulated and everything, then no shit it happened back in the day as well. That doesn't make it common though. I guarantee it was. I guarantee it was. I'm sure there were a lot of people. I'm sure there were a lot. Okay, so yeah, just speaking from like lived experience and everything. Okay, a lot of girls, what do they like? They like hanging around with boys their age and everything until they're like, you know what? I want to settle down and get married. And then they pick like an older guy because they tend to be more mature, right? And so you have back in the day where the older somebody was, the chances are they had more income to give away, they were more established. Are you going to tell me that you had more people? Or that it would be uncommon? It would be uncommon for a man to promise his 5-year-old daughter or whatever to some older man to eventually marry? I don't think it'd be uncommon, Jed. I don't think it'd be uncommon at all. Our president's wife is 29 years younger than him. I'm not surprised. Careful marrying only for money or power. If your spouse is abusive, it isn't worth it. Back in the fucking day, I bet it was. I bet it was worth it. I bet it was worth it back in the day to have like a fucking rich man that would beat you sometimes if it meant not having to grovel on the streets and potentially catch a fucking plague from poor living conditions. Like, successful man, younger woman. Or sleep in the cold, yeah. Again, that is a minority. I doubt it. I doubt it. If you say 12, it'd make more sense than 5. Because the 5-year-old, you write out the fucking contract. And then when they come of age, they get married. When they come of age, the child gets married to the adult. That sounds so wrong. Go and look at the statistics, and then they provide me the statistics. But yeah, 12. When the 5-year-old turned 12, depending on the area. What statistics are you looking at 33? When is it okay for them to be married? I don't fucking know. Do I look like a fucking psychologist or whatever that knows when fucking people are mentally mature enough to handle the responsibility of marriage? Back in the day, you know what? This is gonna make me sound awful, but back in the day, I think it would be better for the fucking child to marry younger. Because like being set in stone, like having that stability is the child. No. Yeah. Yeah, I think the fucking back in the day, when women didn't have a lot of rights. And couldn't own land on their own, or couldn't do like fucking anything on their own basically, or do a lot of shit like get a job without a man's approval and everything, without their husband or their father's approval. I think it'd be better if they're off learning life skills and being in a stable environment versus having to deal with, I want to say, like the stress of having parents and everything that are trying to sell you off to like the highest bidder. I think the stability would be better. You're taking your own grave here! Because both are shitty situations, right? Like you don't want a fucking husband that's gonna beat you or whatever, but you also don't want to fucking live with your parents where they're fucking treating you like shit and just trying to sell you off to somebody. Wouldn't you rather be away from that and be able to like establish your own identity, even if it is under your husband? I think it'd be better. Getting out and getting to start your life at a younger age. Why are you like this? Stability is generally the most important aspect of any society at any level. I agree. Stop posting Wikipedia. Don't fucking use Wikipedia as a source for me. Don't you fucking send Wikipedia as a source. You learned this shit in like high school. Wikipedia is a fucking source when you're fucking like writing up a shitty essay or whatever, you know? Send the sources that are on Wikipedia. You could fucking edit the Wikipedia page and then send it to me. Married couple family groups by presence of own children under 18. What? Play Crusader Kings at some point, you'll enjoy it. I fucking will. Wikipedia says you are wrong, Pippa. About what? The source is the US Census. What the fuck? I'm not talking about modern day! I'm saying it happens in modern day. I don't think it's super common in the modern day for like fucking adults to decide, oh yeah, I'm gonna marry a younger person. But I will say it is pretty fucking common for, okay, there's always gonna be the girls that graduate high school and they're like, I'm gonna marry my high school sweetheart, right? But generally, like a lot of girls, right, when they get out of high school, they're like, oh, I'm gonna like go to college, or I'm gonna work at fucking McDonald's or whatever, and I'm gonna find a nice rich man to marry. You fucking ask women, right, and like 9 out of 5, or 9 out of 5, 9 out of 10 women will be like, yeah, I want to find a nice rich man to settle down with. Hey, Sybil, thank you for the $5. Here's a little extra for your face. Connects for his graduation back. I'm not saying they don't have their own goals and everything. I'm not saying they don't have their own fucking goals and everything. But people... people like stability, chat! People like stability. Ragnar, thank you for the 5 Canadian. Life was very brutal merely 100 years ago for 90% of people. Getting married young to an old pig was better than working yourself to death at the age of 41. Fucking true. Danny D, thank you for the 199. Till the end of the Middle Ages sucked to live in. Sucked in some areas, better in other areas, I think. I think more people need to... I'm gonna sound fucking like a boomer or something. But I think more people, chat, would very much benefit from having at least one hands-on skill in their skill set. I think people should know how to do at least one thing. Be it plumbing or cars. For a lot of people, for a lot of boys, it is cars. For a lot of boys, it is cars. But I think having that practical knowledge is sorely missing. Oh, Sawyer, thank you for the 2,500. Pippa, I'm sorry you had to live through all that. What the fuck? What's your hands-on skill, Pippa? I think I'm just good with outdoorsy survival stuff and patching stuff up in general. I'm pretty good. I might not be good at like building things from scratch, but like if you present to me an issue, you know, like, oh, the fucking fence is broken. I'm pretty fucking good at fixing the fucking fence. You know, I'm pretty good at putting shit, maybe not back together 100%. You know, if something's broken, you can't usually put it back 100%. But fixer-upping. Pippa's the fixer, got it. Jack of all trades? I'm not a jack of all trades. Pippa can sew. Pippa a beauty. I can sew a little bit. I'm not very talented. Dilo, thank you for the $5. Civil War vets married women younger to give them a pension after they die. Doesn't surprise me. Pippa, someone broke down the door again. Can you fix it here with the shotgun? You know what the secret is, chat? You know what the secret is for a lot of things? It's not always duct tape. When you're working on like fences and stuff, you know, bungee cords are fucking magic. Shit that will just hold other shit together until you can get the supplies to put it back together properly. Here's a source of age gap in medieval times. Haginal John 1965. European marriage pattern in historical perspective. Hash. No. John. 1965. European marriage pattern. Camping has taught me the importance of bungee cords. Bungee cords are based. And rope. Ah! Why is it printed sideways? That's okay, I can just flip it over. Oh, because it's like a scanned book. That would make sense if it's from 1965. So what does this actually say? The marriage pattern of most of Europe is, as it existed for at least 2 centuries up to 1940, was, so far as we can tell, unique or almost unique in the world. There is no known example of a population of non-European civilization which has had a similar pattern. The distinctive marks of the European pattern are 1. A high age at marriage, and 2. A high proportion of people who never marry at all. The European pattern pervaded the whole of Europe except for the eastern and southeastern portion. Let us consider data for 1900. The European pattern extended all over Europe to the west of a line running roughly from Leningrad, as it is now called, to Trieste. The European pattern may be seen in Table 2. On the other hand, the countries east of our imaginary line are shown in Table 3. Several of the Slav countries in Table 3 displayed quite different marriage. Selected European countries in 1900, percentages singled at selected ages. Single population as per percent of population age group. I'm gonna bring this up on stream. Sorry, this was from modern era. Yeah. This is from 1900. 1900 is not medieval times. Or it says 1900. Yeah. Let us consider data for 1900. That is what it is showing. So this isn't very, There's data for the 1700. Where is the 1700s? Default name, they give it the $5. Child marriage in the early Western Europe is a myth. The average age of marriage was 26 for men and 22 for women. In 1600 England, only nobles had child marriage. I really don't think it was... Okay. You said the book covered the last 200 years, so it would cover the 1700s. Which book? 1600 wasn't medieval times either, it was early Renaissance. That's an average though. What was the common age? $1700 isn't medieval. This somehow feels a bit pedantic in context. Everything after 1600 is not valid. 900 to 1599 only. People used to get married at age 16. I did in my family tree and it was all like that. I feel like that's... Should I buy this light novel? What would you rate it? Google Books is having a deal right now where it's like $3 off. Like any book. So yeah, you can get this book for like $3 right now. If you want to get it on Android. The story is roughly set in the 1400s. Pippa destroyed with facts and logics. I really don't think so. I really don't think so. Because looking at this data, it still does show an age gap. Even if it's not getting married at age 12 or whatever when coming of age. Because this is also 1900s. I'm trying to find where it says 1700s. Because 1900s were pretty fucking different from proper medieval times. But this is also showing when people got married, like at what age. This doesn't say who is marrying who. This just says at what age somebody is getting married. Marriage age shot up after women had full equal rights and put queer first, so that's the most clear delineation. Saying there weren't many child marriages in medieval times is a cope, I agree. This is just saying when people got married. So even if it wasn't officially recognized in the law books or whatever, doesn't mean that it wasn't like recognized by the church and they weren't having these unions. Falling floor, thank you for the $5. Look, all I'm saying is my daughter can't plow a field, so I gotta teach her how to cook and clean, and you better won't. I want a dollar for my trouble. I think a lot of men's wives died in childbirth and they had many wives over their lives. Probably. I think that's a fair statement. The whole, like, men are like, marriage is eternal and people are not supposed to remarry thing is not very well enforced in most places. Marriage contracts were signed when kids were young, but they generally weren't married to older ages. That being said, most marriages was just a man and a woman saying we married and calling it a day. I'm not saying it didn't happen, just that it wasn't nearly as common as people think. Like the King of England married the 12-year-old Eleanor of Aquitaine? Aquitaine? I don't know how to say. A book's on clerical law, the Swedish Empire, and the Swedish Criminal Code from 1718, but I'm not pulling them out. Earlier marriage also worked for more possible births at a time when child survival rates were low, or awful. I don't know, I'd have to say like actual... I guess you can't really do concrete evidence for stuff like that back in the day because a lot of things just weren't written down, right? A lot of just things weren't fucking written down. So it's hard for me to say like, oh, well, if you give me evidence. Because the only marriages that really would have been recorded are like those of the wealthier people, if anything is getting recorded and saved like that. So really you just have to go off of first-hand accounts, but first-hand accounts are entirely anecdotal. So how do you definitively say like, oh yes, this percentage of people got married young? Also gotta remember that the survival of a family is based on the number of children, so I mean in order to survive you gotta keep popping them out. There's actually a very famous example of an early medieval child bride, but also not one we're gonna bring up here. You said you wouldn't necessarily believe it even if it was written down. You have to look at the source for things. But this is all kind of a roundabout way of saying, yes, I do have certain beliefs of what the medieval times must have been like. Informed by reason. Informed by reason, not me just saying like, oh yeah. No, Pippa, you're wrong about that. The Catholic Church pedantically recorded every birth, marriage, and death of their community. Yet not everywhere has a Catholic church, though. I guess in England, yeah. Excuse me, do you have a source for that? Is it peer-reviewed? What that journal was in? Oh, that's 3 years old. There's no research out now, turns out. It's hard to make a fucking... England wasn't Catholic, whatever. Okay, Spain. Spain. I don't know what other fucking countries had Catholicism. Spain! Not every country was like Spain and had Catholicism. Pre-Protestant Revolution, European was overwhelmingly Catholic. Italy? Fuck Italy. Spain is cringe? You're fucking cringe, Jen. England was Catholic until the Protestant Reformation. Why is England? Question mark? England? England? Catholic? Italy has the Pope, dude. Italy has nice people and the best food. Oh, calling Italian nice? Medieval times when life was short, nasty, and brutish. I miss the good old days when men. Oh my god. Fur little creatures were fur little creatures and died of the plague! I'm not cringe, you cringe, Jen. You hate Mario, you fuck Mario. The Vatican is not Italy. Italian medieval food sucks, no tomatoes. Pippa complains about the books lacking details. Chat complains about Pippa lacking nuance. I think to change my mind. I think to change my mind on this topic. Okay, let me point out why I believe what I believe. Let me point out why I believe what I believe. Okay. The average age that you used to live. Okay, let's bring up. Okay. Average lifespan, medieval. Fuck, I can never spell medieval. Medieval England. In the Middle Ages, the average lifespan of males born into land-holding families in England was 31.3 years. And the biggest danger was surviving childhood. Once children reached the age of 10, their life expectancy was 32 years, and those who survived at 25, the remaining life expectancy was... Wait. And for those who survived at 25, the remaining life expectancy was 23.3... What? Oh, remaining life! Okay, so yeah. That's not accurate, no records. We're saying, what if this is accurate? We're saying, what if this is accurate? If the average age that you live to in a land-holding family is 31, 99.9% weren't landholders. Right, so they probably lived to even less, right? The people who don't own land. Landholding does not mean peasants necessarily. I mean, it probably means not peasants. Because I can't imagine a lot of peasants owning land. Well, like, I think of the $5. Pipple, what time period is medieval Europe? I don't know the whole fucking time period. I don't know the whole fucking time period. The only thing I know is like 1500, and that's where I like staple a pin in it. Like, ah, yes, this is the medieval ages. Child mortality brought averages down. If you made it to 30, there was a decent chance you made it to 60. 1500 is not medieval, ah. 1066 to 1500? 500 to 1500? 1080 to 1025 80, or 12,050. 800 to 1400. I'm getting a lot of fucking mixed answers. Hold on. When was the medieval period? Middle Ages, the period in European history from the collapse of Roman civilization in the 5th century CE to the period of the Renaissance. Variously interpreted beginning in the 13th, 14th, or 15th. Okay, Google says 500 to 1500. So... the 5th century is 400. 13th, 5th century. 5th century to the period of the Renaissance. So 13th, 14th, or 15th. Was in the right ballpark. Yeah, I was in the right fucking ballpark. So forgive me if like 1400 is more accurate. I love how people who show one example in the entirety of the world to prove themselves right. The Crusades and the Black Death are a safe bet to base your opinion on my period. Base your opinion on the period. My brain is melting right now. Renaissance started in the late 1400s. Middle Ages span roughly 1,000 years, ending between 1400 and 1450. 1500 is considered to be the end of the Middle Ages, but there is no universally agreed upon end date. The people who are saying 400 to 1000 are looking at early medieval period. Pippa history lessons. Is that Pokemon music? Yes, this is the Heart Gold and Soul Silver OST. Basically, 1500 is not representative of medieval. What is representative of medieval then? Pippa, do you know? Pippa means fap in Italian. That's awful. Not gunpowder is medieval. The Crusades. Peak high medieval era there. Time for a name change? No. High Middle Ages, aka 1100 to 1300. In British history, it's defo between 1066 and 1485. There's nothing that is representative of all of Europe. The experiences range from city to city and country to country. There is no universal experience. I agree with that, default name. I agree with that. And I understand that probably sounds like a cope of like, oh, well, I'm probably right somewhere. But the things that I have read, the things that I have been taught in my history classes and whatever, although we were never really taught like medieval history in my schools, it's just stuff that like I've read personally on my own time. The child marriage shit was not very uncommon. People did not live to a very long age. It wasn't child marriage and like, oh yeah, let's marry off the 5-year-old. It's like, okay, well when she gets to be like 16, which is the age that pops into my head specifically, maybe it was younger, maybe it was older, but 16 is the age I personally always remember seeing in books was 16. 12? I see 12 coming up a lot, but it was around 13. They married much younger. I'm sure they did. Pippa, do you plan to write a light novel about medieval child marriages? Not really. Generally, when a woman had her first period, that's something I also read a lot, was that like, when a woman had their first period, you see that even in a lot of fiction. Even in a lot of medieval fiction novels, is like, oh, you become a woman when you have your first period. And then in... Is it in Indian culture? There's like that whole thing of the, fuck, what is that thing in Indian... I think it's Indian culture, where there's like this, this representation of like this one deity and everything, and when she gets her, period, it means like the deity has left her body or whatever, and she becomes, she gets cast out of like the palace and everything. Like, it's like a bunch of really rigorous, Shiva? I don't remember. Maybe. Hold on. Shiva's a dude. Sita! Yeah. I think that's it. Sita ritual or something? Hindu? Something like that. But yeah. Girls develop faster in modern times though, but yeah, 13-ish. Political marriages between royalty could be prepubescent, but they weren't consumed until later. Parvati? Maybe it was Parvati. Sarasvati. Maybe, I think Sarasvati sounds more familiar. But consummated. But Sati? Is it Sati? I don't know. Oh, menstruation hitting up? No. I'm thinking of like a specific like ritual and ceremony and everything that's performed. But basically speaking, chat. Basically speaking. I don't think it's unreasonable. I don't think it's unreasonable to think that around the age where a woman goes through puberty is around the age when she'd be getting married off. Especially in older times, you know? I'm not saying in modern times, chat. Don't fucking start. Don't start with the breeding age. Don't start with that shit. But like, in ancient time, older times. Okay, Lady Targaryen. I haven't fucking read Song of Ice and Fire or whatever. Berserker, I think it's the $5. Do you have a favorite American accent or dialect? I'm gonna read off what the fuck the rest of that said. Also, it'd probably be considered rather strange not to marry in those days. People would probably see you as a... Okay, that's going a bit far, Fulu. I think they'd more view you as like a troublesome woman or something. What makes it your favorite and why? I don't know if I have a favorite American accent. I just in general don't really like accents. I don't know. What are some examples of American dialects? There are roughly 30. I didn't know there were that many. There's Southern. Everybody knows Southern. Oh, Southern, New York. What else? Let's pack the car. List of dialects of English. America's not even on this list. Oh wait, yes it is. USA. There's, oh, okay, so there's Pacific Northwest, Californian. No, wait, no, those are just map markers, I think. Yeah, those are just map markers. African American English, African American Vernacular English, Cajun Vernacular, General American, Latino, Chicano English, Miami English, New York Latino English, Pennsylvania Dutch English, Yeshiva, what is Yeshiva? Oh. North American English, Inland Northern English, Chicago, Cleveland, Detroit, there's all these different, oh my god. What was the... I just fucking closed Stream Elements to Google this. Valley Girl is the worst. Would that be the California English? Is that what that's listed under? Pepper Love. Oh, Berserker, thank you for the $10. Fake Irish accents in America. I don't know. I think a lot of accents are annoying. And I feel like there's a very fine line between like the nice sounding Southern where it's like somebody's got a little bit of a nice twang in their voice versus I guess what I'm more acquainted with, which is like the hillbilly kind of Southern where it's like, yeah, oh my god, you see that dumpling? I'm gonna go rocking down in the old. Hey, when guy, he got the crown, he went down and got the crown. He took that damn crown, he took that crown, he threw it down right there in the river. at their Walmart, and when he was in that Walmart, oh my god, the thing that he did see them in there. You know, like, he's just in there like... Shut up! Shut up! What accent does Doug Dimmadome have? I don't know. Boomhauer's hillbilly. I think that was a hate crime. Went down to the creek, got some of them Curdades. Got some Curdades down there in the creek. Took my jaw wrangler down there. Oh god. Crawdaddies. Got them there crawdaddies. Sit down right there on the couch there, big sister. Just get the holy water. I think you're confusing Western with hillbilly. Ah! I guess it depends on the region of hillbilly. John Garrison, they give the $5. How many times have you watched Smokey and the Bandit? None. Did you practice this? Nope. Full stream of this. Oh, how crazy compels you. What else am I gonna get them crawdads, people? Well. Full stream, please, no! Oh god, we watched Gold Fever and I talk in that accent. I'll buy chewing tobacco just for the stream. Trey Daniel, they give the $10. That anime bunny girl ain't right. Berserker, they give the $5. Pippa Crawford for southern accent as long as it's not too hillbilly. I get self-conscious doing like a southern accent. I feel like people expect something specific. V sent me to this channel. He was ready. You were funny. Love it. Subscribe. Oh, well, thank you, full potato jacket. Listen, I'll have the man, the myth, the legend speak for me. Are there any?
It'll be fine.
Listen,
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm kind of retarded.
Welcome to my stream. Pippa should speak in her native hillbilly accent. King of the Hill, watch along with me, Chan. That'd be fun. Would Moonshine improve that accent? Maybe. Welcome to my stream. I say a lot of dumb shit. People get riled up. They say, Pippa! I say, what shit? I say, prove it! They say, well, can't prove it anyways because even if I did prove it, you wouldn't believe me anyways, Pippa! And I say, damn right, because I'm a woman of conviction. Are we all affected by the Pipkins? Probably. Acceptance is the first step? Nah. Woman, why'd you say that in quotes? Fishman loves you anyways. Aw. More Pippa. Yes, more Pippa. Just like that, it's like Pippa. Meanwhile, mod staff just talking about Panic in the background. No, I think Moomy panics still. Well, I don't think Moomy panics. I think Moomy sits there and she watches my stream sometimes and she's like, God, I wish I could click off, but I'm getting paid to sit here and do this, so... Fuck, maybe I should have accepted a different job. Maybe I regret this. Gaslight chat? I would never gaslight you, chat. What are you, crazy? Why would I ever gaslight you? Is Pippa really a woman and not a very effeminate man with a very squeaky voice? Did you just assume my gender? Music is kind of loud now. Oops. There's no pixel. So now that we got that out of the way, how about you fight out? Gaslighting is a made-up word, chat. We should watch Dukes of Hazzard. Oh my god, my dad used to put on that movie a lot. Tyler, thanks for the $1. How much do we need to pay for you to use an accent during the next time we go out? Tenma would have a stroke. Tenma would have a fucking stroke. I learned about you through Flamenco's guest spot on SFO's channel. Came for the Ethan Ralph content. Stayed for literally everything else. Well, thank you, Baladi. Thank you for... Thank you for stopping by. Berserker, thank you for the $10. What's your favorite conspiracy theory? P.S. Watch out for the glories. R.I.P. Terry Davis. Oh, my favorite conspiracy theory. I don't know. It's hard to pick a favorite with that kind of thing because, I mean, they're all amusing and they're all, some of them are just plain up right, or correct in their own right. So it's like, do you go for something that's amusing or do you go for something that's correct? Because aliens were conspiracy theory, right? And then the fucking US government leaked those documents showing UFOs, so... How about that one, Chief? A show you recommended, Inside Job. Dude, Inside Job was amazing. Giants were real. The ones with the giants, and they're like, well, in ancient Egypt, they had these giant statues. You should try the Jamaican accent. Oh, I don't want to be cancelled. They leaked them on purpose. Oh yeah, they fucking posted them. They published. Okay, I used the wrong word. They publicized a document. Published. US released fake documents to distract you from the real conspiracies, probably. Birds are all drones. Dragons confirmed, History Channel says. Oh my god, I remember the Dragons fucking History Channel thing. I remember watching the fucking... Like, that one was kind of like... That one was like... The dragon one was kind of like a joke, right? Or like the Dragons one was like a story. But then I remember watching the fucking mermaid one. I remember watching the mermaid one and I was like, holy shit, is this real? Is this real? Like, I watched the fucking Mermaid Animal Planet mockumentary when it came out. And I was like, what? What? The Mermaid Hoax was Animal Planet, yeah. The X-Files was a documentary. The dragons were a letdown. The dragon one was like presented as like a story. Imagine allowing History Channel to gaslight you. Oh, they would never. Was the dragon documentary the one where they said dragons ate minerals so they could justify the breathing fire? I think they did something like that. There was one about Santa being real too. Someone I know believed it. Stargate was the documentary. What if the real conspiracy theory was the friends we made along the way? My favorite point and laugh one. My favorite point and laugh one is Flat Earth. My favorite one, like, yes, point and laugh at it. This is obviously demonstrably false. Is Flat Earth. My favorite conspiracy theory is that I actually believe. I don't know if I'm allowed to like get into that. I don't know if I can bring that up. You say that, but I mean, come on. Flat Earth is proven though. No. Listen, I'm not saying NASA is. NASA is. Oh, fuck. I'm in too deep. I'm not saying NASA always tells the truth, guys, but I'm saying, come on. NASA. I'm saying NASA fucking is always reliable, but listen, I'm saying we have our own ways to prove that the Earth is not flat. And that includes people going to Antarctica. Zena, think of the $5. If someone believes flat Earth, I think their head is flat. Oh my god, as a thought, no. NASA did the moon landing, she's amazing. Ever seen a map? They're flat. Dude, it fucked me up when I found there's like these things that let you compare like the actual sizes of like, oh, how big is Alaska compared to Europe actually? You can just drag and drop. There's a mad expedition to prove once and for all if the Earth is flat or not in the works. Listen, I'm willing to believe pretty much fucking anything, right? Like, I'm kind of a fucking idiot, you know? If you dangle something in front of me and you're like, you know, this could be true, I'm like, well, I guess I don't know for a fact that it isn't true. But then, like, the second you prove yourself, like, the second you prove yourself wrong, it's like, And that's what the fucking flat earthers always do, right? Berserker, thank you for the $10. I got in an argument with my deal. But the history channel's mermaid show that it was not real. He also told me to turn my phone off when I came over, lol. He's dead now, not my fault. God. The last guy who tried that in his homemade rocket got to saw the curvature of the Earth right before he died. Oh! I remember that. I don't remember that guy's name, but he was that rocket man. And he used to show up to the flat Earth conventions and everything with his rockets. Elon Musk drove a car into space. The Earth is not flat. You trust Elon Musk. If the Earth wasn't flat, why do I never wrap around the map? He saw the truth and they killed him for it! You could be the next Rocket Man, but not... Rocket Man! I swear Jim did a video on him or something. I don't remember that. Didn't he survive his crash with a broken spine? No, he died. No, that guy fucking died. If the Earth isn't flat, then why is nobody allowed to go to Antarctica? You can go to Antarctica. You can fucking go to Antarctica. There's nothing... There are like these expeditions and everything that will take you to Antarctica. You're allowed to go there. You might die though, yeah. Do you know anyone who went to Antarctica? No? I don't know fucking anybody. I'm sure there are people with footage. Well, can never trust footage. What do you think they do with the people that pay to go to Antarctica though? You're not allowed to go too far in though. Explain to me how the sun cycle... Explain to me how the sun and weather cycle work. On the flat earth model. Because the things I have seen of the flat earth model, they have like two models that they use, right? They have the one model where it's like, well, if this is how it was, if this is how the fucking sun like rotated around, then it would just straight up be fucking like daytime in more of the world. Because the sun is not a fucking like cone. But that's how they demonstrate it, is they use the sun as a cone. Yeah, the sun has a lampshade. Yeah, that's basically what they do. They treat it like the sun has a fucking lampshade. And it's like, well, if I took a fucking glowing ball, okay, if I took one of those bouncy balls from the dollar store, and it lights up, it's not illuminating in a fucking cone shape, it's illuminating everything around it. And then there's the other model where it shows like the rotation and it's like a fucking like flat. It's like half dark, half lights, and it's like perfectly flat, and it's so... The sun has a lampshade, and the moon also has a lampshade that moves around in weird ways. Yeah. It's fun interacting with flat earthers. Oh my god, they're insane. Weather is mostly magic in the globe theory anyways. The earth is flat and hollow. That's what Mamakin... I don't know if Mamakin still believes that, but one time I was in the kitchen. I was in the kitchen and I walk out and Mamakin's on the phone with good old crazy uncle. And she hangs up the phone and I'm sitting there. I think I was making eggs or something, I don't remember. And Mamakin starts talking to me. Yes, the shackle. Mamakin starts talking to me. And Mamakin has this habit to just like start talking, right? And even if I like don't say like fucking anything, she'll be like, well, don't you believe me? You know, like prompting for information. So I'm just kind of sitting there like, And at first she starts off small. You know, talking about like the day and everything. And then she starts, well, you know, they also found out, you know, it also got leaked recently, that they're developing black hole technologies in the center of the Earth. There is a massive hollowed out space beneath the surface of the Earth. And they are developing black hole technology. And I'm sitting here like, I just came here to make my eggs. I just came here to make my eggs. And then she's like, and then she's like, well, you know what? Yeah, I don't know what the fucking government's doing, okay? I don't know what they're doing, but the Hollow Earth theory. I don't know if I prescribed to that one, but then Mamakin keeps going on. Mamakin keeps going on. And I don't remember like how exactly she transitioned all this. This was a while ago. But she starts talking about, this is in Faye's world. This is in Faye's world. She starts talking about how there's like a certain airport. And in this certain airport, they're building these certain camps. They're building these camps in this airport. And they're gonna put people in them. After they put on the people at the Phase World Emergency Management Association? What's it called? I don't know. Are gonna start putting people in these camps after they shut down the power grid. They're gonna shut down the power grid, and they're gonna start hurtling people into these camps. And I was like, okay. And she just keeps going on. And I didn't know what to say. In hindsight, I wish I had asked, like, what are they gonna do with the people in the camps? But I'm sure it would have been just something like, they're gonna make them work, I guess. I don't know. You didn't agree with her? I was caught very off guard. Do a collab with your mom. It's a summer camp. That airport is really creepy. I've seen some stuff about that airport. I don't really know. Like, cause I watch, like, YouTube videos, right? My mother is pretty normal. My friend's mother is all into the conspiracy stuff. She's like a second mother to me, and I educate her on the facts. Changed a lot of her views. I tend not to believe any conspiracies that Mama can Pepe your phone. I'm sorry! I tend not to believe. I'm surprised you guys can even hear that. I tend not to believe a lot of Mamakin's conspiracies. Because Mamakin also reads stuff like The Secrets. And I do not believe in manifesting things into existence. I do not believe you can manifest destiny your way into a new car. I don't think you can fucking manifest destiny your way into a fucking promotion. There's definitely the power of placebo, and there's definitely the power of believing, you know, there's definitely the power of believing. But that's not the same as a cosmic. That's not the same as like a cosmic force. That's not the same thing as fucking warping reality. Cosmically. You can change your attitude about stuff, but it's not magic, exactly. Which I would have appreciated The Secret if it was, like, just about, like, a mental state. Which maybe that's the whole thing. Maybe that's the whole thing about The Secret, is it, like, paints it under, like, this sort of, magic narrative, to put it nicely, in order to appeal to people who are seeking like a higher power and people who are trying to seek whimsy in order to try and better them. But isn't The Secret also owned by one of those people that like fucking sells like snake oil and everything? What is your take on Amazon's Ring of Power? I have not seen Lord of the Rings. I deliberately avoid stuff like the Lord of the Rings because I don't want it to warp my perception of everything else. And I feel like everybody that watches like Lord of the Rings or Star Wars is like, ah, this is just like Star Wars. It's not out yet anyways. Don't knock it until you've cooked in snake oil. It's past midnight and oh my god, it's past midnight. Oh, it's past midnight. Okay, chat. I'm gonna stop it here. Pippa, it's a book. Yeah, I know there's the Lord of the Rings book. And then there's The Hobbit. And doesn't The Hobbit actually come first? And then there's like the Silmarillion or whatever. But I assume whenever somebody talks about Lord of the Rings, they're talking about the movie because 99% of the people that have 99% of the people that have seen Lord of the Rings and are like, oh, do you like Lord of the Rings? They're talking about the movie, chat. But no, I have not read the chat either. Silmarillion is first. Hobbit trilogy, then Silmarillion. Silmarillion is for hardcore nerds. It's a setting book rather than a proper book. Silmarillion was before The Hobbit? Ah, I'm getting so many mixed answers. Well, this was a crazy fucking stream. I still feel like shit. I still feel like shit, chat. My tooth feels better though. My top tooth. My bottom right tooth still aches. When I started the stream, I had these like massive pains in my chest. I don't know if they went away on their own or if this is just the power of distraction. I don't know if this is just because I enjoy streaming or if I actually feel better. Maybe it's both. The Hobbit is literally a kid's story. Lord of the Rings is a foundational fantasy novel, and Silmarillion is for turbo nerds. To recap, Ascendance of a Bookworm is only good in the beginning, then becomes really crappy. You write the shit on it. I haven't finished it. We'll see. Next week we'll have a full discussion with spoilers and everything, and you guys can tell me all about this book series. But keep on catching crawdads in there in that creek. Recipe to fixing hurt teeth is pliers. No. And we can debate child marriage again for 10 years. Man. It's all just an elaborate cope. I cope with the idea that fucking child marriage in medieval times was common to deal with the fact that I've seen people get married to like much older people like that. Truly one of a kind topics down here. Oh god. It was called I Believe, Zenith! Next stream, debate me, chat. Debate me with facts and logic. Okay, I'm gonna read off names from chat now. I have to use the restroom. God damn it. Okay, thank you for stopping by. Zenith, Jeremy Wolf, Charleville, Yang Winley, Animal Friend Part 2, MDLR, Halo, Ozone, Nate, Seville, X, Converi, Mer, Trojan Fidelis, The Justed One, Tomoko Kuroki, Voctor, Badger Cape, Archive Bro. Also, if any of the people in here are waiting on a fucking DM response from me, I doubt it, but I doubt any of you guys are in here. I swear to God, I'll respond to DMs eventually, okay? I'm sorry. I know I've left some people on red for like fucking 4 days now. A week. I'm sorry. Javier Enriquez, Raziel, GK Lurk, Starvin, Mr. Car Guy, Dan Scrub. As a thought, thank you for the 50 MX, for the 50 tacos. For as rambunctious as they are, your streams always make my night. Thank y'all. I'm glad you have a good time. And Facelord, thank you for the $2. Shan Huang, Odwin, Freedom Extremist, KR Yuma, Pedro Zero, KR Yume, Cypher, Kyle Cosmo the Oppressed, Fuckle Knuckle, Kinda Gang, Vash, Sweet Time, Crocodility, Zincro, Javier Enriquez, that darn Irishman, Men of Wars, Logan, almost a Logan, Moon Berserker, N333, as much as I argued with you, Nix Eternus, Guanico, Cuddly Kitty Cat, Bingo Panic, Zenler, Vel, Guedes, Devil Hitman, Woma, Kisna Hentai, Jackie, Ray NPC, Firebrand, Deadnot Gaming, Sarvin, Patrick Olsen, Green, Hikimoto, Kahindo Amos, Raft is Trash, A-Dog, Badger Keep, Spoon, John Garrison, Argo Blargo, Coconut Tackle, Blau, Family, No, Tell Me More Respecter, Rex Arada, Spoon, Nix Eternus, Pedro G, Denied, Rogue Gen, Obscure, Folu, Dan Holson, Aegis, Richard Returns, Mumberthrax, Donald W, Sakua, Jay, I know Blank was in here, Ridian, Salmon Senior, do your sleep reps, Joe Schmo, I got 2 callouts, god damn it. Pepper, read Aegis' name, please. Read Aegis' name! Blank, yeah, there you go. Javier Enriquez, Anime Document. Alright, I'll just send it. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. I'll see you guys next week for a full Derek Ramirez, GK Lark, for a full review of this. But then I'm also streaming tomorrow. Vane, I'm also streaming tomorrow. Tempo, Bill 4. I'm also streaming tomorrow! Frank Cabano, Boner Condoner, Sarvin. I think I've said all your other names. Mr. Yura, Guedes, Bit Samui, Charvel, Bored Undead, A-Dog. Yeah, listen. Fuck off. I'll see you guys tomorrow at 21 EST.
Searching for greatness in a sea of the dying and shameless, a sea of the aimless. I don't wanna be one of the nameless. I'ma wake up with the mindset that one day I'm gonna make it. And I don't think I'll be fine if I don't break my limitations. Don't try to stop me, I exist to write my own story. I'll make a decision if I want some peace or if I want the glory. Yeah, don't want a life that is complacent or possibly boring. I just want a life that is worth every day exploring.
My whole life I just wanted someone who would notice me. My whole life I just wanted to be somebody to be. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great.
To appreciate all that is vacant. It's just for the taking. If you make up your mind, you can take it. I'm never complacent. I would work in a mansion or basement, yeah. There's no replacement for persistence, it's a patience, yeah. In this life, I wanna be soaring, to feel sun inside when it's pouring. And I'll fight till anxiety is foreign. I'm so sick of my mind's extortion.
My whole life I just wanted someone who would notice me. My whole life I just wanted to be somebody to be. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, yeah.